Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Thursday, and we are live and direct on location on this first day of the National Football League season for 2025. Good afternoon from Prairie Band Sportsbook in Mayetta, part of Prairie Band Casino and Resort. This is 580 Sports Talk on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and of course, on our video stream, our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. However, whenever, wherever you're catching the show today, thanks so much for being a part of the 580 Sports Talk audience. We're thrilled to have you with us, and we are thrilled to be here at Prairie Band Sportsbook. I'm Dan Lucero. I'm solo at the Sportsbook for now, but that won't be the case for long. Brendan Dworzinski is en route. Spencer Dupuis back at the ranch up on Huntoon Hill, making sure we get on the radio today for this live program. We're with you until 6 o'clock, at which point we'll break away for Royals baseball, Game 3 of their series against the Los Angeles Angels, as the suddenly reeling Royals hope to avoid being swept by the lowly Halos. First pitch at 6:40 tonight. Pre-game coverage once again from the Royals Baseball Network at 6 o'clock. And we are with you until then here on 580 Sports Talk. It is the first day of the NFL season, so we are going to be football heavy on today's program. It is the start of the year. It is our preview show. We will give you our predictions, who we think is going to win each division, who we think is going to make the playoffs, who we think is going to win the major awards, who we think is going to win the Super Bowl. We will have our full staff predictions. Those are coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. We're also, appropriately enough, this is a sports book after all, we're going to take a look at some over-unders, some prop bets for the start of the NFL season, and go through a few of those as we get started here today. We will also talk some local sports. Joining us via the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline will be Rick Peterson of TopSports.news. He'll come and check in with us at about 3:35, 3:40 on the program, as he does every Thursday on the show, because it is not only week 1 of the NFL season, it is week 1 of the Kansas high school football season, which means we have some games to preview, some other events going on in the area. Pistol's going to tell you all about. We're looking forward to our weekly chat with the great Rick Peterson of TopSports.news, our local sports spotlight. That is coming up again at the bottom of this hour. Plus our typical Thursday shenanigans. We do either or over-under. We're going to really do some over-unders here today at Prairie Band Sportsbook. We'll also have a round of What Is Wrong With You coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. And in the 5 o'clock hour, a special treat. Usually Thursdays during the NFL season, when the Chiefs have a game, and even when they don't, even on their bye week, we talk to Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. And those conversations will continue throughout this 2025 season. Mitch will join us, thanks to our friends from Hy-Vee and Assura Credit Union. But it's a little tough for Mitch to make all of his obligations because, well, he's in Brazil. So the Chiefs obviously had their travel day. They are ensconced in Sao Paulo, getting ready for their season opener tomorrow night against the Chargers. And with that in mind, Mitch Holthus sent along a preview that you will hear tonight. It will not be our typical back-and-forth conversation interview, but he did send along a game preview, what to look for as the Chiefs open their season against the Chargers. So we will certainly hear from Mitch Holthus in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll also hear in the 5 o'clock hour my conversation earlier this week with the coach of the Topeka High Trojan football team, Jason Philbeck. The Trojans open their season tonight. They are taking on Wichita West out at Hummer Sports Park, and some of you might even be driving to the field to go see that one when we play the interview with Jason Philbeck. Our Coaches Club will continue this season as pregame programming here on 580 WIBW for our 580 Preps Games of the Week. So tomorrow at 5:30, thereabouts, you will hear the Week 1 edition of the 580 Preps Coaches Club. You'll hear from the other 7 city head coaches as a prelude to the first game of the season for us, our first 580 Preps Game of the Week, which will air tomorrow night on our sister station, Country 106.9. It's the War on 24 for the 112th time, Silver Lake versus Rossville. From Rossville, myself and Spencer Dupuis on the call. So you'll hear from all the other city coaches tomorrow, but you'll hear from Jason Philbeck in a couple of hours because his team plays tonight, kicking off their season, looking for another 1-0 start against the Pioneers of Wichita West. So that's all coming up on the show today. Plus, we want to hear from you. Even though we're not in studio, the text line remains open at 785-272-9429, 785-272-9429 is the text line number. You can also jump on the live chat on YouTube. If you are streaming the show today on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk is the name of that channel. Go subscribe to the channel, by the way, if you have not already. We're moving on up towards our next stretch goal. We got to 800, so Brendan and I are going to arm wrestle during the show in about 2.5 weeks. Not this coming week, but the week after, we're going to arm wrestle. And we get to 900 subscribers, we're going to do something else to be determined. But the journey of those 1,000 miles begins with you, who has not yet subscribed to 580 Sports Talk, whoever you may be, deciding to smash that subscribe button and doing so today, and then checking out the show on the YouTube stream. Hello to our viewers today. Christopher, Mark H., Paul's in the chat. Tyler's in the chat, wants me to throw $10 on black. I got to wait till I'm done doing the show before I do any of that. Vance in the chat as well. It is a close-up shot of yours truly today. I'm in the laptop. The computer's right on top of me. There's a reason I washed my face. I exfoliated. I shaved. That is very obvious. Cleaned up a little bit. Got a haircut. Two reasons for that, really. I'm going to be on TV on Saturday. I don't know if I mentioned that. I'm doing the MIAA Game of the Week for 38th The Spot out of Kansas City when Washburn takes on Northwest Missouri State. I'm on the play-by-play of that, and they're going to put me on TV. And so I thought I had to look good for TV, and thank goodness I planned ahead, so now I got to look good for this stream because it's me and a little more forehead, frankly, than I'm accustomed to seeing, and a concerning amount of forehead. If you want me to be completely honest with you, I'm not worried about the full hairline yet, but man, that's a good number, a good amount of forehead there that I was not necessarily expecting to see. Happens to all of us. Anyhow, thanks for being here. Whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're listening, appreciate you tagging along here for 580 Sports Talk. But we'd love you to come and see us today as we are up at Prairie Band Casino and Resort in the Prairie Band Sportsbook. Where else would you rather be for game one of the NFL season than Prairie Band Sportsbook? Where else would you rather be? Really, this is the place to watch every NFL game. And not just watch every NFL game, get some bets down on the NFL. I hold in my hand right here. I've got the betting list. I've got the lines, the active lines from as of this morning for every one of the NFL's season opening games, including tonight's opener. The Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, opening at home against the Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles are 8-point favorites. The total is 47.5. Eagles are minus 480. Cowboys, without Micah Parsons, plus 360 on the money line. Tomorrow night's Chiefs-Chargers game. Chiefs are 3-point favorites here at Prairie Band. Total on that game is 46.5. Chiefs are minus 167 on the money line. So you'd have to bet $16.70 to win $10 or $167 to win $100. That's how those odds and that math works out. All the other games are up on the board as well, and it's not just football. They've got PGA odds for the Ryder Cup coming up, NCAA football and NCAA futures, NASCAR futures, NFL and NBA futures. You want to bet the MLS, college basketball futures? Do it. It's all on the board here at Prairie Band Sportsbook. And they've got two things going on today that it would be a great day to take advantage of and come hang out with us here at the Sportsbook. First and foremost, it's the $10 bet and get. And this is going on at the Sportsbook through September 8th. If you go to the window and place a $10 bet, you will receive either, your choice, a $10 free bet or a $10 voucher for Prairie Cash. So you can either make another $10 bet at the book, or you can take that $10 in Prairie Cash and play the slots or whatever else you want to do with that $10. That's going on through September 8th. It's not just today. It's through September 8th at the Sportsbook. Make a $10 bet. Get either a $10 free bet or $10 in Prairie Cash. There is also ongoing, and you have until noon Sunday to enter, the Prairie Band PFT. That stands for Pro Football Tournament. It's very simple to play. $100 entry fee gets you in, and you can enter as many as 10 times. $100 per entry. And you pick 5 NFL games a week. That's all. You don't pick all 16 or however many there are in a week. Just pick 5 games. And if you get the most right at the end, you win $5,000. Simple as. You win $5,000 if you win the Prairie Band Pro Football Tournament. You can learn more about it online at pftrules.com. Of course, they'll be more than happy to explain it to you here at the window. And if you go to the window today, while we're on the air here on 580 Sports Talk, if you go up to the window and you sign up, you buy an entry to the Prairie Band Pro Football Tournament, you will be entered into a drawing to win 3 tickets to see the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles in the home opener, the Super Bowl rematch at Arrowhead Stadium 2 Sundays from today. So that is an opportunity you should take advantage of. Come on out and see us here today at Prairie Band Casino and Resort at the Prairie Band Sportsbook. I'm looking straight out at the wall of televisions. If my math is right, there are 8 TVs in front of me. There are 3 to my right, and there are a bunch more in the bar, Ember's Bar and Grill behind me. So this is the place to be. Tonight, this is the place to be on college football Saturdays. This is the place to be on NFL Sundays. This is the place to be during the Major League Baseball playoffs. Where else would you rather be? Watch the games, get some action down, bet your way here at Prairie Band Sportsbook. I've also got the futures in my hot little hands over here, the futures bets for the NFL 2025 season. The Chiefs enter the year not only not the favorite to win the Super Bowl, they're not even the favorite to come out of the AFC and win the Super Bowl. According to the odds at Prairie Band, the Eagles are 6.5 to 1 to win, plus 650 to win the Super Bowl. The Ravens and the Bills are both 7 to 1. The Chiefs are 8 to 1. So not far behind, but Chiefs have 8 to 1 odds to win the Super Bowl. Never mind that they've won still 3 of the last 6. They've been to each of the last 3 in the AFC. They've beaten Buffalo and Baltimore on the way to Super Bowls. They beat Buffalo and Baltimore in Buffalo and in Baltimore on their way to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Never mind all that. Chiefs are the 4th favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. The second favorite out of the NFC is the Lions. They're 11 to 1. Then the Niners at 17 to 1. The Commanders are also 17 to 1. The Fighting Spencer Dupuis is. Cincinnati and Green Bay and the Rams are 20 to 1. The Broncos, the Vikings, 28 to 1. The Texans and the Chargers and the Buccaneers are 30 to 1 to win the Super Bowl. Bears 40 to 1. Pittsburgh 45 to 1. Dallas 50 to 1. I would short that. The Cardinals 60 to 1, same as the Seahawks. The Falcons and the Patriots 66 to 1 odds to win the Super Bowl. Jaguars and the Dolphins 80 to 1 odds. The Colts and the Raiders 100 to 1 long shots. The Panthers 125 to 1 odds. So for every dollar you bet, you win $125. The Giants, Jets, and Titans 200 to 1 odds. The Browns 250 to 1, and the longest of long shots. And I do think this team will be the worst in the NFL. The New Orleans Saints, they are 300 to 1 to win the Super Bowl. We'll tell you later on in the show who we think is going to win Super Bowl 60. But I wanted to start with a little bit of over-under today as it pertains to the Kansas City Chiefs. And, of course, you can play along. You can get in on the text line with us, 785-272-9429. You can get in our YouTube chat. Again, the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Patrick Mahomes' total for pass yards this year, his over-under for pass yards this season, 4,500. Is Patrick Mahomes going to be a 4,000-yard passer in 2025? I feel very strongly that the answer is going to be yes. I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to have a monster season. I have said on this radio program that I think Patrick Mahomes is going to win the MVP. You can get those odds, by the way, at 7 to 1, plus 700 on the board. The favorite right now at Prairie Band is Lamar Jackson, 5.5 to 1. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, both 6 to 1. Mahomes is 7 to 1. And if Patrick Mahomes heard that, I bet that would draw his attention, perhaps even draw his ire a little bit, that he would be behind those guys. But 4,500 is his total for passing yards. 27.5 is his total for passing touchdowns. 27.5. You think Patrick Mahomes will throw for 28 touchdowns this year? Let me give you an idea of what Mahomes has done in his regular season. He has come in under that number the last 2 years, 27 2 years ago, 26 last year. He was also working with depleted and, frankly, not altogether good receiving cores. The year before all of that, 2022, when he won his second MVP, threw 41 touchdowns. The only other year he's been below that number, that projected 27.5 total, was the year he got hurt in 2019, and he missed 2 games. So also keep in mind Mahomes has missed a game each of the last 2 seasons because they have rested starters in Week 17, haven't had to play their guys in the final game of the regular season. So even if Mahomes doesn't play all 17 this year, though, even if he does just play 16 because the Chiefs have a bye or seeding is secure going into Week 17, I think he's going to pole vault over 27.5. I think that's one of my favorite bets on the entire board, anywhere you can find it, is Patrick Mahomes over touchdowns. I think they are due for a little bit of regression in that department, and I could see him bringing that number into the mid-30s this coming season. That is a number that I really, really like, and I like it even more once Rashee Rice returns to the lineup, which hopefully, again, well, not hopefully, it should be Week 7 after he finishes serving his 6-game suspension. For that yards number, by the way, he's gone over that yardage total, 4,000, in every season except last year, where he was at 39.28, and again, didn't play Week 17. And again, had the shortest depth of target in his entire career. They're going to extend out how far he's throwing the ball down the field this year. I think 4,000 yards, that is absolutely going to happen. I'm all in on Mahomes overs. I'm all in on Mahomes as the MVP in 2025. Some other numbers of interest. The consensus total for team wins and losses is 11.5. I think I like the over there. They've only had that season where they won the 11. And that was a year where just about everything went wrong with the offense. Last year, even more stuff went wrong with the offense, and they won 15 games. They're really, really good in close games. If you believe that their close game fortune was not repeatable, that they're not going to continue to win close games at that same level, you may be right, but I don't think that drops them from 15 to 11 wins. I think it could drop them from 15 to 13 or 15 to 12, but I don't think it gets them to that 11-10 win threshold because their quarterback is still Patrick Mahomes, and you win a ton of games when that guy is your quarterback. So I really like the Chiefs over win total as well this season.
Very nice. I'll be here for an hour.
Some other numbers that are out there. Chris Jones's total sacks, 7.75. George Karlaftis, over-under for sacks, 8.75. Both guys had a ton of pressures last year that they didn't convert into sacks. Again, that's the kind of number that typically ends up in being something that positively regresses. I think that Karlaftis gets back to double digits this season. I think Jones has a very good chance to get back to double digits. I think the return to health of Charles Omenihu is one of the under-the-radar stories for the Chiefs this season. Having him back a year and a half removed from that major injury, I think is significant for the Chiefs. I think it's significant for Omenihu, who, when he has been on the field, even at something less than full health for the Chiefs, he's been a menace. He was awesome last year in short spurts, but that was all he was able to really give the Chiefs coming off of that injury. This year, I think he'll be more available. I think he'll be more productive, and I think the attention paid on him is going to help guys like Chris Jones, who always gets plenty of attention as is. I think it's going to help Karlaftis too. I really do. I think it's going to be a situation where Karlaftis is a double-digit sack guy for a second year of his career. Travis Kelce's over-unders are interesting. Over-under 700.5 receiving yards, 4.5 touchdowns. Travis Kelce has topped 700 receiving yards, I believe, every year of his career, other than the year where he only played one game and he got hurt. I'm going to double check and make sure that's true, and it is. Even in his least productive NFL season, which was last year, Travis Kelce still had 823 receptions, or 823 receiving yards, but that was a function of having 97 receptions. He's probably not going to catch 97 balls this coming year. So Can he catch 70 and get back to a 10 yards per reception average? He was only at 8.5 last year. Could that be something that gets him over that 700 mark? Also, the number of touchdowns, 4.5. He had just 3 last season. I think there will be some regression to the mean in that department. I like the over on touchdowns for Kelsey more than I like the over for his receiving yards, because I do think there'll be a little more Noah Gray. I think Robert Tunyon's presence as tight end number 3 will give Kelsey a little bit more opportunity to load manage in some passing situations. I think Mahomes has developed some trust with Tunyon. So I think those guys are going to be really productive and take some things off of Mahomes' plate, take some things off of Kelsey's plate as far as his workload, which, again, I think it's going to knock down his receiving yards, but I do think he'll be much more of a red zone force this season. This is an interesting one to think about. Sacks for the Chiefs. 2 years ago, they had 57 sacks. They were second best in the NFL with 57 sacks. And then last year, that number backed up. They only had 39 sacks in 2024. If you set the over-under at somewhere in the middle, 48.5, I think I might be inclined to go with the over, because I think that what's been lost in terms of production from last year, Turk Wharton had about 6.5 sacks. I think that what's been brought in, Jerry Tillery, Omar Norman-Lott, and Ashton Gelati, the 2 rookies and the free agent signing Tillery, are capable of recreating that, of improving what we saw from the Chiefs' depth pass rushers last year. And like I said, there were a lot of pressures that didn't result in sacks. That's the kind of thing that year over year, typically, you keep pressuring the quarterback, eventually those sack numbers rise along with it. So I think the sack numbers are going to tick back up for the Chiefs this year. I kind of like an over 48.5 sacks. I think the Chiefs scare that 50 sack number again this coming season, have a real opportunity to get there. We got plenty more to get to on this edition of 580 Sports Talk. We're going to do some other numbers from the board here at Prairie Band Sportsbook. We're going to talk to Rick Peterson at TopSports.news. We got our NFL predictions coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Again, we are live at Prairie Band Sportsbook at Prairie Band Casino and Resort in Mayetta, and we are just getting started on this Thursday edition of 580 Sports Talk. 3:31 on 580 Sports Talk. We're just getting started on this Thursday live from Prairie Band Casino and Resort and the Prairie Band Sportsbook. You can bet your way and you can enjoy tonight's season opener of the 2025 NFL season. The Cowboys and the Eagles. We have almost arrived at that most wonderful time of the year, the start of the NFL season. And I want to remind folks that if you come in today to the Prairie Band Sportsbook and at the window you tell them, I want to get into the Prairie Band Pro Football Tournament, I'm going to buy an entry, $100 buy-in, $5,000 cash to the yearly winner, $500 to the last place finisher if you think you know no ball or you want to try and shoot the moon. Quarterly awards of $1,500 in free play at the casino and the sportsbook. If you come to the window today, while we're on the air here from 3 to 6 on 580 Sports Talk, and you tell the folks, I'm in on the Pro Football Tournament, and you join the Pro Football Tournament, you will be entered into a drawing to win 3 tickets to Chiefs versus Eagles Week 2, 2 Sundays from today, the home opener for the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium and the Super Bowl 59 rematch. There is not a more anticipated home game this season for the Chiefs, and if you want to be there, you're going to have a chance to win 3 tickets if you enter today at Prairie Band Sportsbook and jump into the Prairie Band Pro Football Tournament. It's real easy. All you got to do is pick 5 games each week. And if at the end of the year you did the best at picking games, you win $5,000. Simple as. If you did the worst, you win $500. So there's a prize for being really good, and there's a prize for knowing absolutely no ball. So it's a great opportunity. It's a great game. And if you join it today, you get entered into a drawing to win those 3 tickets to Chiefs versus Eagles. A couple of thoughts here from the listeners. We were talking about Mahomes, his yardage total for the year, 4,500 yards on his over-under. Andrew likes the over because he's got a healthy receiving core. Healthy-ish, obviously, no Jalen Royals for week 1, but you don't obviously have the long-term injury concern that Hollywood Brown was, missing all but the last 3 or 4 regular season games. I think it was 4. And then, of course, the injury concern that Rashee Rice became. That's the kind of thing you can't predict. He's going to miss 6 games, but again, even that's not a long-term concern. He's going to play more than he's not going to play, which was not the case for him last year. Paul in the YouTube comment says, Mahomes over 4,000 yards, but I'll say no Chiefs pass catcher goes over 1,000 yards receiving. But I will say 4 guys have over 600 yards. That's really interesting. No 1,000-yard receiver. I think that's probably right. I think Rashee Rice would have been a 1,000-yard receiver had he not been suspended. I think this would have been the year for him to go over 1,000. I think he's the clear go-to guy. And with him only getting to play at most 11 games this season, I'll agree he's not going to be a 1,000-yard guy. Kelsey's not a 1,000-yard guy anymore. I don't think Worthy is there. I don't think Hollywood Brown is a 1,000-yard guy in this offense. So I think that's probably right. I think that's a pretty good assumption, Paul. Mark H. also over on the Mahomes passing yards. Tyler asks in the YouTube comments, again, a YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Jump in the chat, subscribe today. You ever consider a parlay on all the division winners in the NFL? I have considered that. I may or may not have done that before. I do not have an active one right now. But if you wanted to do that, you could here at Prairie Band Sportsbook. I could tell you that the favorites in each division are all minus money except in the NFC North and the NFC West. So the Bills are the biggest divisional favorites in football. They're minus 286 to win the AFC East. That means you would have to bet $286 on the Bills to win the AFC East to win $100. Bills are the biggest favorite. The second biggest divisional favorite is the Philadelphia Eagles. They're minus 157 to win the NFC East. And then the Ravens are minus 155 to win the AFC North. The Chiefs are minus 122. So bet $122, get $100 back if the Chiefs win the AFC West. Those are shorter odds than I think that, shorter odds than, I guess I'm not, if I'm going to get the verbiage wrong, let me say this. I am more certain that the Chiefs are going to win the AFC West again than those odds would maybe suggest. The Texans and the Buccaneers in their respective South divisions are both minus 106. So close to even money favorites on both of those division favorites. And then the divisions where there's no clear consensus, the Lions are plus 135 to win the North. The 49ers are plus 150 to win the NFC West. The Rams are plus 185 in that division. There's no consensus or clear favorite in that NFC West. So that's kind of where those odds stand. But I don't have the calculator in front of me to figure out what those odds would be to parlay them all, but you'd eat pretty good if you put a parlay together and you correctly identified all 8 division winners. You would eat pretty good for a while. I'm talking like choice cuts, like Wagyu beef for a while on the dinner table at home if you hit on an 8-way parlay, any kind of 8-way parlay. One of my favorite ones to do on some of the phone apps is pick 10 players anytime touchdown each week and put $1 on it. And if it hits, you can win. Like I've placed ones where $1 can win you like $15K. And of course it's never hit or even come close, but it, adds a little fun to watching the NFL on Sunday. Homer Simpson had it right. You guys ever see the Simpsons episode? I'm going to do the thing I always do with my wife where something happens and I say, oh, this is like when on The Simpsons. I still make references to the first 10 seasons of The Simpsons, which were on television in the 1990s. And I still make reference to them like everybody watched them on TV last Sunday. It's a personality trait. I don't know if it's toxic or what. But anyway, there's the episode of The Simpsons. And it's a really early episode. It's like, I think it's 1991. Whatever year it was that Washington played Buffalo in the Super Bowl. It was that year. That was the time this episode aired, where Lisa, Homer's daughter, discovers she has a gift for betting on football. Because Homer was betting on football games and not particularly well. And Lisa asked, well, why would you want to gamble on the games? And Homer says, you like ice cream, right? Well, don't you like ice cream better when it's covered in chocolate syrup and crumbled up cookie things? Crumbled up cookie things. That was the analogy. That's what a little parlay, a little action on an NFL Sunday will do. Those are the crumbled up cookie things that make the ice cream that is the National Football League that much better. We're going to take a time out here on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, we'll shift gears and talk some local sports. Preview week 1 of the high school football season with the great Rick Peterson of TopSports.news. That's coming up next on 580 Sports Talk. We are joined on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline by the great Rick Peterson of TopSports.news. It's our weekly conversation with the man who covers Shawnee County High School sports and the Washburn Ichabod's better than anyone else, Rick Peterson. He joins us every Thursday at this time for the local sports spotlight. Pistol, we're up at the Prairie Band Sportsbook today. Have you been up to the book yet?
Well, I've been there, not for a while. I try, do my best to not go to those places too much. So,
hey, everything in moderation, right, Pistol?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk some football, but let's begin. We'll get into week one of the high school football season in a little bit, but let's begin with week one of the Washburn football season because that's in the books, and the Zach Watkins era began with a win, 20-17 over Truman State last Saturday at Yeager Stadium. What impressed you most about the Ichabods in their 2025 debut and Zach Watkins' coaching debut?
Well, obviously, Justin Lewis, 352, 2 touchdowns, school and MIAA record, 20 straight completions at one point. I had never seen him, so I didn't know what to expect and was very impressed with him and very impressed with his receivers, DJ Bell and Alan Jacklin, and they were both really, really good. And so they're going to have to improve the running game, obviously, minus yards rushing, but they will. And I also really like the way they play defense.
The debut of Justin Lewis was obviously one of the big stories. He ends up winning the MIAA Player of the Week. What did you like best about his performance and what you saw from him in game one?
Well, just like I said, 352 yards, 2 touchdowns, 20 straight completions at one point, and he was just very, very good.
Rick Peterson, our guest, TopSports.news. This is the local sports spotlight here on 580 Sports Talk. Northwest Missouri State comes to town Saturday to take on the Ichabods in the MIAA opener for both teams, and it's been a series largely dominated by the Bearcats, as they've been, of course, a gold standard program for such a long time in Division II. But what are you looking for from Washburn in this contest against another program that has a brand new head coach who happens to be an alum, who's one of the great players in program history, and John McMenamin?
Yeah, I think it can be a very close game, and I think it will be a very entertaining game. Like I said earlier, Washburn's going to have to improve the rushing attack, and they were hurt by injuries up front last week. But always your defense is what's going to keep you in games. But I look for a very entertaining, very good game.
Let's now shift gears to high school football as the season begins. And actually, for the Topeka High Trojans, it begins tonight. They take on Wichita West in their season opener. So we'll go ahead and start there with Jason Philbeck's Trojans. 4-4 last year, won their first 4 games, lost their last 4, and then lost their first-round playoff game. Very interested, Pistol, and I'm sure you are too, to see just how far a step that they've been able to take in year 2 under this head coach.
Yeah, I think that's what Coach Philbeck's interested in. He was very happy to go 4-0 to start last year, but he knows to be the type of program he wants to be, they're going to have to be competitive in the Centennial League. And of course, they only won 1 Centennial League game last year. So I think they will take a step. I think I'll know a lot more.
Pistol, are you still there? Do we lose Rick Peterson? I think we may have lost Rick Peterson. I think we did lose Pistol, so hopefully we'll get him back here shortly. He joins us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline for the local sports spotlight. Rick's game previews, game recaps, his, of course, outstanding staff that tracks Shawnee County High School sports. You can check it all out at TopSports.news. It is an essential daily read. Take this opportunity to tell you real quick and remind you that our game of the week, our first 580 Preps game of the week for 2025, will air on our sister station, Country 106.9, tomorrow night. It's the War on 24. It's Rossville. It's Silver Lake for the 112th time in program history for those two proud programs playing against each other. Last year, a barn burner that went to overtime, Silver Lake winning by a touchdown in OT, 33-26. And can't wait to see what's in store this year as the scene shifts just 7 miles on Highway 24 to Rossville. It is Silver Lake and Rossville, our first 580 Preps game of the week. It's tomorrow night over on our sister station, Country 106.9. Pre-game coverage will get underway at 6:45 over on 106.9, and we'll have the kickoff of the contest at 7 o'clock. We have Rick Peterson back with us. And, Pistol, let's go ahead and segue right into the War on 24. Rossville, Silver Lake, two teams. You can throw the records and the expectations out the window because you're always going to get a close game. You're always going to get a real good game. What are you looking forward to from that matchup tonight? What are you most fascinated to see? For me, it's the fact that both teams are breaking in new quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I think both will be good. I know Cannon Mitchell's, he was close to winning the job last year, and I think they think he won't miss a beat. When I was over and saw Coach Pigram, they were still looking at 3 different guys. So it'll be curious to see if they play multiple quarterbacks and who they go with. But like you said, it's always going to be a great game. It's a great game last time. So it'll be good.
Yeah, it always is a great game. There's another matchup between Shawnee County Schools, a non-league affair tomorrow night, as Shawnee Heights takes on Washburn Rural. Two teams that had losing seasons last year but are primed for a bounce back in 2025. Somebody's going to make a statement in this one, Pistol. I'm so fascinated by this week 1 game between these two old Centennial League rivals. What are you kind of leaning to as the biggest key to this matchup between the Thunderbirds and the Junior Blues?
Defense. I think defense is going to win this game because Heights has a great quarterback, great receiver, great running back, and David Wakes. They're gonna score some points, I think. So I think Rural's defense needs to hold them down, and then on the other side of the coin, I think Rural's got 2 of the better running backs in this area. So you gotta slow them down. So I think defense wins.
Oh, most certainly it does, and looking very much forward to tracking the progress of that one. 2 great coaches, Jason Swift and Steve Bueller, and I just think that's going to be an absolutely awesome football game in the area on Friday night. Taking a look at some of the other games in the area for tomorrow night's week 1 of the high school football season. Seaman is at home against Piper. Seaman lost a lot from last year's team that won 9 games and went to the sectional round, but they bring a lot back on defense, and I think their defense has a chance to set a tone with a couple of big playmakers on offense back as well.
Yeah, and I think Seaman is going to be fine. In preseason, to Wofford, they lost. They lost, I think my co-offensive players of the year in the county and the defensive player of the year. But Cameron Bryan's a great player on defense. Caden McKinney's a good running back. Noah Kopajewski's a good tight end. They're going to be fine.
Not the only high school sport. The rest of the high school sports season, a lot of other sports, in fact, are already underway. So outside of the action on the Gridiron Pistol, what else will you have your eye on in Shawnee County high school sports this weekend?
Well, I had a heck of a volleyball quad the other night right here at Hayden. And Hayden, 2 really top-ranked teams, Hayden and Rural. And Hayden, for the first time in quite a while, was able to beat Washburn Rural Volleyball. So already they're in mid-season form volleyball-wise. And then soccer, Washburn Rural is going to be really, really good. And they got off 6-0 opener. So cross-country this Saturday, we're in it. We're full speed right now.
The gas pedal has been engaged. High school sports season off and running. Football starting tonight through tomorrow, week 1. And covering it all will be Rick Peterson and the crew over at TopSports.news. Pistol joins us every Thursday at this time for the local sports spotlight. Pistol, it's always a joy, and we'll look forward to hearing from you next week, recapping week 1 and looking ahead to week 2.
Look forward to it.
That is Rick Peterson. We will take a timeout, come back, and we will wrap up this 3 o'clock hour 580 Sports Talk live from Prairie Band Sportsbook at the Prairie Band Casino and Resort in Mayetta on 580 WIBW. .355 on 580 Sports Talk, wrapping up the first hour of this program. Coming up in hour number 2, we're going to have our NFL predictions for 2025. Division winners, wild cards, conference champions, Super Bowl champ, awards, all that fun stuff is coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. And, of course, we expect that you will totally agree with all of us all the way down the line. So you can tell us how smart we are on the text line, 785-272-9429, or in the comments on the YouTube stream at 580 Sports Talk. But that's never happened before in the history of this show. More likely, you're going to think we're morons for one reason or another, and you can tell us about that on the text line or in the YouTube comments as well. That's what they're there for, to tell us what you think. So we're looking forward to making those predictions. We've got, of course, the What is Wrong with You coming up. I almost forgot the name of our most popular segment. What is Wrong with You coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, too. We are, again, live at Prairie Band Sportsbook, Prairie Band Casino and Resort. Right now, watching a little baseball. We've got some early afternoon baseball, or late afternoon baseball, I guess it would be, with the Brewers and the Phillies, a couple of playoff-bound teams in the National League. NFL Game Day is on. Got a little golf going. Got FS1. Got Nick Wright up there on the screen. And, of course, when we get to kick off tonight between the Cowboys and the Eagles for Game 1 of the NFL season, it's going to be full-scale football in here. So you're going to get in here, watch the game from here. There's no better place you're going to find within a 30-minute drive at Topeka. This is going to be a better place to watch the opening of the NFL season than here at Prairie Band Sportsbook. And again, a reminder, if you make a $10 bet today at the window at Prairie Band Sportsbook, you yourself will get a $10 free bet or $10 in Prairie Cash just for placing that $10 bet. Bet 10, get 10 here today at Prairie Band Sportsbook. That actually is a promotion running through August or September 8th. And don't forget to sign up today for the Prairie Band Pro Football Tournament. If you register here today, you're entered into a drawing to win 3 tickets to see the Chiefs and the Eagles 2 Sundays from today, the 14th, in the home opener for the Chiefs. If you can't make it out here, but you still want to register, you have until noon Sunday. Go to pftrules.com to be a part of the Prairie Band Pro Football Tournament, where the winner wins $5,000 in cash. Predictions coming up. Who's going to win it all in the NFL? We're going to tell you who's going to hoist the Lombardi Trophy. That's coming up in the 4 o'clock hour of 580 Sports Talk from Prairie Band Sportsbook. Let's get it. Hour number 2 of 580 Sports Talk on location on this Thursday afternoon, day 1 of the NFL season. And we are ringing in the occasion live from Prairie Band Sportsbook at Prairie Band Casino and Resort in Mayetta here on the Sports Voice of Kansas. 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube stream, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube, WIBW News on Facebook. The gang's all here. Brendan Dworzinski has arrived in Mayetta, thankfully without the cops hot on his heels. And Spencer Dupuis is in studio. So we got everybody in the house for the 4 o'clock hour.
What are you implying, Dan?
What are
you trying to say about me?
I'm implying that there are occasionally speed traps on Highway 75, if you weren't aware.
I once drove a speed that I didn't know my old Jetta back in the day. I didn't know it could get that fast on the way after the show to a KU game one time. I did not know the Volkswagen Jetta could go that fast, and no one stopped me. So
that's good. That's a relief.
That emboldened me probably to a degree it shouldn't have, but no, I did make it here. Awesome to be here. It has been way too long since I've been up here. Now, the only unfortunate thing, we've got some live baseball on. However, it features a team that I could not possibly want to see less right now than the Milwaukee Brewers.
You've had your fill of Milwaukee Brewers baseball.
I'm so sick of them. Freddie Peralta, get out of my face forever. I can't stand it. Knowing the Brewers are going to get swept in their first playoff series, that's just kind of what they do. But it's awesome to see some live sports on. Obviously, NFL action back tonight. It's going to be a party here.
It really is. Game 1 of the NFL season tonight. The Cowboys and the Eagles. As of this morning, Eagles are 8-point favorites here at Prairie Band Sportsbook, and you can get down some action. Again, a reminder, the 2 promotions going on today here at Prairie Band Sportsbook. One of them is going on through September 8th, so you can do it today. You can do it through September 8th. Go to the window here at the Sportsbook, which is, if you've been to the casino, walk into the front entrance of the casino. It is almost immediately forward and to your right. It's right next to Three Fires Steakhouse. It's right before you get to the casino floor. It's impossible to miss. It's the one with all the TVs showing sports. Hop in and place a $10 bet on a game or a future or whatever you got. That $10 bet will earn you automatically, by virtue of you having placed it. You will win a $10 free bet or $10 in Prairie Cash, whichever you prefer. You can take $10 to the casino floor, or you can re-rack and make another $10 bet here at the Sportsbook.
Yeah,
that's going on through September 8th. Also, the Prairie Band Pro Football Tournament is still taking registrations until the start of the noon games on Sunday. It's an 18-week-long competition. You pick 5 games each week. If you win the most games, you win $5,000. It's a $100 entry. You can enter as many as 10 times, $5,000 to the winner. And if you register today here at Prairie Band Sportsbook to be a part of the Pro Football Tournament, you have a chance. You will be entered into a drawing to win 3 tickets to see the Chiefs and the Eagles, the home opener for the Chiefs, in 2 Sundays.
God dang.
Right?
That's a hell of a price.
That is a hell of a price.
That's a hot ticket.
All you got to do is come today and enter the Prairie Band Pro Football Tournament. If you can't make it here today, we understand. Sometimes you're a little tied up. You're working. You can't make it. We understand those things happen.
I understand you hate me. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we only take it a little bit personally, but you can still enter the competition. Go online to pftrules.com. That's pftrules.com.
No relation to Mike Florio.
No relation to Mike Florio. We will be bringing you our NFL predictions for the start of the season. We got Thursday night football tonight. The Chiefs open the season, of course, tomorrow night against the Chargers. And Christopher asks a very pertinent question. Where will we be able to hear everything this weekend? It's a good question.
It's a great question.
This is a 10-car pileup of a sports weekend, a glorious pileup of a sports weekend. So, pen and pencil in hand, notepad. I'll give you a second to get whatever you're going to
get your Scantron out.
Collect notes on for everything you're going to hear. We'll keep it as simple as we can. If you want to hear the Royals this weekend, they play the Minnesota Twins in a 3-game series. They play tonight against the Angels and 3 against the Twins this weekend. If you want to hear the Royals, right here on 580, you're in the right place. Don't have to do anything. Don't have to move your dial. If you want to hear the Royals, they're right here. Tomorrow night, if you want to hear the Chiefs, they're on our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country. 6 o'clock pregame, 7 o'clock kick from Sao Paulo, Brazil, as the Chiefs open against the Chargers. Chiefs Radio Network coverage on our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country. If you would like to hear high school football tomorrow night, the War on 24, the 112th meeting between Silver Lake and Rossville, our first 580 Preps game of the week of the season, our sister station, Country 106.9, will have that for you. On Saturday, again, you want to hear the Royals? 580. You want to hear K-State as they take on Army at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. 4 o'clock pregame, 6 o'clock kickoff. The big 94.5 Country is where you want to be for that. Do you want to hear the Ichabods as they take on Northwest Missouri State in the MIAA opener for both teams? Washburn football is always on the home of the Ichabods, Country 106.9. 12:30 pregame, 1 o'clock kick, Bods, Bearcats.
That's going to be fun.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, that's going to be a blast coming up on Saturday. Yours truly, Spencer's going to be there with us. He's going to fill in on the sideline for us this weekend. Trenton Craction will be up in the booth with me. Kind of an interesting matchup. Northwest, I mean, that's a team that has aspirations to win the MIAA. They lose their non-conference opener, so they come in with a little desperation. Washburn, as we know, one of the best passing performances in the entire country during week 0, leading receiver, leading passer in all of the MIAA in week 0. So Washburn playing from a position of strength back at home again, each team with a new head coach, alumni for both teams as head coaches. So, no, this is going to be a fun matchup coming up on Saturday.
And on Sunday, Royals baseball in the afternoon on 580, and on Sunday night, Westwood One's coverage of Sunday night football. And the first Sunday game of the year is a banger. Bills-Ravens in Orchard Park, New York. Pregame at 6, kickoff at 7:20. Those are all the games you can hear on the family of stations that we have, 580, the big 94.5 Country 106.9. If you didn't get all that, don't worry about it. We'll direct you in the right place. Follow our socials. Follow us on X. Follow us on Blue Sky over at 580 Sports Talk, and we'll get you pointed in the right direction this weekend. Follow us on Facebook, WIBW News. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. We'll let you know when you can hear what we are bringing to you, because it's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. But I'm fired up about it. Football's back, man. Week 0 is great. Week 1, when it's just college football, is great because you get the Thursday through Monday games, and college, early college, those non-conference games are a blast. It's different when it's NFL opening weekend, and I'm fired up. And we have so many good games. Like tonight, I think the Eagles might kill the Cowboys, but it's going to be narrative-filled. Tomorrow night is obviously going to be what I think, obviously, is going to be a very competitive game. Great slate on Sunday. The Sunday night game is great. Monday night, certainly heavy with the narratives. J.J. McCarthy's first game, Ben Johnson's first game in Chicago. And seriously, throughout the day on Sunday, you get Packers versus Lions on Sunday. That Sunday night game is going to be fantastic. I think there's a lot of games that are certainly interesting. Aaron Rodgers' revenge game against the Jets. That is happening. Maybe not super interesting. Your Seahawks have a big game. Seahawks-Niners could be huge.
Oh, yeah. Seattle should win that game. Unfortunately, their quarterback is Sam Darnold, so any game they win will be an accident.
That's a little harsh.
I hate Sam Darnold. They got the best defense. It's a Legion of Boom era, and they pair it with Captain Mononucleosis. I'm so upset at this.
They have Kenneth Walker. Maybe he hands it off really good.
Maybe he hands it off 60 times.
That's fine.
Maybe they run the wishbone.
That's fine.
Maybe I get a pony.
Okay. I think Sam Darnold can do a good enough job handing the ball off to Kenneth Walker and throwing checkdowns to Jackson Smith and Jigba that they can win that game.
I'm so out on the Seahawks. Like I am. I'm out. 6-11. Like Sam Darnold is a bum and a half, man.
Will we see Drew Lock this year?
Bad team merchant. What's that?
Will we see Drew Lock this year?
No. In my nightmares, where I always see Drew Lock.
He's terrible, man. He's genuinely one of the worst players in the NFL.
So,
sorry, Mizzou fans, but yikes.
On that note, you know who I'm not picking to win the NFC West. But on that note, let's make some picks, shall we? It's the start of the NFL season. It's time to make some predictions. We'll go division by division, conference by conference. We'll pick our division champs, our wild cards, and then we'll pick conference champions, Super Bowl champions, and some award winners as well.
I need to grab the NFL futures packet over here so I can see how outlandish some of my predictions are going to be.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing yours.
There's one that I know is going to make. There's honestly one division winner I'm picking that makes me mad. I already know it in advance.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar boat. I'll be fascinated to see if it's the same one. Anyway, in the AFC West. I will shock nobody by picking the Kansas City Chiefs. I know that the Broncos have become a more and more trendy pick to win this division. Just make a note of how many people who are picking the Broncos are picking the Broncos sponsored by Bareback Sportsbook or whatever it is, Sportsbook or sports gambling, Underdog Fantasy, whatever off-brand sports gambling that they do. Just make a note of how many people who are picking the Broncos are doing so with some kind of interest in getting you to bet American currency on a team quarterback by Bo Nix having a better regular season than a team quarterback by Patrick Mahomes. Get out of my face with that. It will be the Chiefs. It will routinely be the Chiefs. They're going to win about 13 games. I got the Chiefs.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs as well. Look, I think this Broncos team is good. I actually have a little intrigue on the Broncos to make the playoffs this year. I think it's a playoff team. I think that's the best defense in football. I think that they've got an offense that even if Bo Nix gets 0% better than he was last year, that offense is good enough to be a playoff team. If they have any sort of juice in the run game after last year having pretty much none, that can be a slightly better team. If Bo Nix is even 5% better, I think that's a no-doubt playoff team. They're not better than the Kansas City Chiefs. And again, it's one of those I'll believe it when I see it kind of things. Show me a team that over the course of 17 games that is going to be better than the Kansas City Chiefs from this division. I do not believe there is one. I have a hard time even squinting and seeing that. So I've got the Chiefs, and I think they probably win this division by 2 or 3 games again.
Spencer, your pick.
Everyone's going to be so shocked by this. The Kansas City Chiefs. You can't bet against them until they're dethroned. So why not? Looks like Patrick is back better than ever. And speaking of better than ever, looks like Travis Kelce in some good shape. He even joked about it today about how the jersey they had him wearing at the interviews today was not as tight as it might have been last year. And Pacheco looks like he's going to burst in him. And they got a better receiver core than I think they've had in quite some time.
I think they're mad.
I do
Jenny,
too.
I think this team is PO'd, and I think they're ready to say, hey, by the way, we don't just win because the NFL rigs it or whatever nonsense the internet tries to tell you. No, they're still the best team in the NFL.
So it's consensus in the West. It's unanimous in the West. The Chiefs are the pick. In the AFC North, we'll go in reverse order. Spencer, who you got in the North?
I've got the Ravens. I think they're the second or third best team in the NFL right now, and you can't. I don't see the Steelers touching them there. Obviously, the Browns, I don't see them winning the division. And the only team that comes close to them is the Bengals, and we'll touch on them later.
Brendan.
I've got the Ravens, too. I know it's the chalky pick. I know everybody's picking them to win the division, but Cleveland is a tire fire at the absolute best. And the Steelers, I just don't trust the offense. They'll probably win 9 games. Maybe they'll get the 7 seed. They'll get blown out by 1 million by the Bills in the first round of the playoffs. That's just kind of what they do. But I don't think they're even close to as good as the Ravens are. I don't know if I'm even going to put the Bengals in the playoffs, man. Like, they've got a first-time NFL defensive coordinator. Their best defensive player didn't work at all during camp, and they're going to rely on a bunch of rookies and UDFAs on a defense that already stunk. Like, I know their offense is elite. I don't think their defense is good enough to maybe even be a playoff team. So I think Baltimore gets it by default. Oh, and by the way, they're just really damn good anyway.
Yeah, I think they have the best roster 1 through 53 in the AFC, and I think they will win the AFC North. So again, it's unanimous in the North. I don't think it's going to be unanimous in the AFC South because I'm picking the Indianapolis Colts, and I don't love that I'm picking the Indianapolis Colts.
I thought my pick was wild.
I don't love that I am picking a team quarterbacked by Daniel Jones to win the division. Let me give you my reasoning. Number one, I don't believe that the Texans have enough firepower and enough ability to protect C.J. Stroud. Number two, I think Shane Steichen, I have seen him make chicken salad out of chicken something else and nearly get Gardner Minshew to the playoffs.
A Daniel pass Jones, by a running back away from it. Yeah.
Daniel Jones, for me, is a similar player to Gardner Minshew in that if you scheme around him, he has shown he can make it work and you can get to the playoffs. That's the bare minimum for a team quarterback or a maximum for a team quarterback by a guy like Daniel Jones. But we know it can be done. We have proof of concept with Jones in New York, and we have proof of concept with Steichen. And I think the Titans are a year away at best, and I don't think the Jaguars are very good. I don't like that roster. So I'm going with the Colts. I hate it so much, but the Colts are my pick to win the South.
Wow. Okay. Well, I also don't have the chalk pick here. I'm not going with Houston because I think Houston's defense is great. I think their pair of edges is the best in the NFL. I think they have either the first or probably second after Surtain, the second best cornerback in the NFL in Derek Stingley. They've got good safety play. Their linebackers are fine, even if they're headhunters. I like C.J. Stroud. I think he'll bounce back. I actually kind of like their receivers. Joe Mixon may never play football again. I don't know what the heck's going on there. If they're going to start Nick Chubb, yikes. Take the over on C.J. Stroud passing attempts. They had the worst offensive line in football last year and got worse. They replaced 4 of their 5 starters with worse players. The only improvement might be their new left tackle, Ariante Ursary, who I liked in the draft. He's a rookie. Rookie left tackles struggle unless you are superhuman. And sorry, Chiefs fans, I like Josh Simmons, but he might not be perfect right away. That's their offensive line trying to protect C.J. Stroud. I hate that. I very stupidly have picked the Jacksonville Jaguars. I am all in on Liam Cohen. Their defense terrifies me, like genuinely. I like their edge group as well with Josh Hines-Allen and Trevon Walker. Those are 2 guys who could both very easily. You could see them getting into double figures in sacks. They've got a couple linebackers who are at least interesting. Spencer, I'm pretty sure you're starting at free safety, so get padded up for this weekend against Carolina. I'm all in on the offense, though. I think Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter right up there with one of the most dynamic offense receiver pairings in the entire NFL already. I think Cohen is going to figure out Trevor Lawrence. And I say this as a long-time Lawrence hater. You know that. We've worked together a long time. Long-time Trevor Lawrence hater. I think he's going to get figured out by Liam Cohen. So I'm going to take the Jaguars. I think they win the division at 9-8.
Spencer.
Look, I've got the Texans winning the division, and I don't think it's going to be I think this might be the worst division in football this year. By saying that, I mean, I think you're not going to have a team with double-digit wins. I think the division winner is going to go 9-8, and everyone else is going to go 8-9. I think your Colts and your Jaguars are going to finish 8-9. And it's going to be the weirdest division ever, and the Texans are going to get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. But I think they're going to win the AFC South.
It's 3 teams that are a cut above the rest in this conference, and then there are a bunch of 9-8 ass teams.
Yes.
No, that's absolutely true.
So no consensus in the AFC South. We're all on different teams. Sorry to the Titans. In the AFC East, we can save time here. It's the Bills, right?
They've got the MVP and a really good roster and a pretty good coach. The Dolphins are yikes. The Jets are at least a year away, and I think the Patriots are a year away. I like Drake May a lot, but I just don't think that roster is good enough right now.
So consensus, the Bills in the East. Now we get to the wild card teams. And Brandon, I'm going to let you start. Give me your 3 AFC wild cards.
All right, I'm going with the Denver Broncos. Like I said, I think that's a very good team. I would argue that might be the 5th best team in the conference, to be honest with you. But I do think there are still a cut below the Kansas City Chiefs. I will put them into the postseason. I would say for wild card 2, I'm really not buying the Chargers, man. I'm not. I am going to go there instead. I'll actually go with Houston. I'm going to put the Texans in as my wild card number 2. Wild card 3, I just said it a moment ago, Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to find a way to get in. They're going to get in at 9-8, and they're going to lose by so many points. They're going to put a TVMA rating on that playoff game.
Spencer, who are your wild cards?
I'm going to go kind of diversely against what Brennan said. I think, you look at the way the defense is for the Bengals. I think they're my wild card number 1, but I think their defense is a worse aspect of their team. But I think they're going to make the wild card, and they're going to get into the playoffs solely on the fact that Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow, and that they have great wide receivers. They have a great offense, and even though their offense their defense isn't great, I think they still get in as the wild card 1. My second wild card being the Broncos. Their team's ascending. Obviously, you have one of the greatest coaches of all time, Sean Payton, at the helm of your team and trying to rebuild. And they started the rebuild last year. I think it continues to make the playoffs again. And my last team, the Steelers, I've been flipping back and forth between the Patriots and Steelers. I think both teams are very much up there, but I think the Steelers end up getting in. I think 9-8 is kind of the ceiling I see for them this year. Maybe 10 wins, but it's pushing it with Rodgers, how old he is.
So we are unanimous on the Broncos as a wild card team. I think they are who they are. I don't think there's another level, a next level for Bo Nix. But if not, then his ceiling as a quarterback can get you to the playoffs, get you beat in the first round. And especially if you surround him with a top 5, maybe top 3 defense in the NFL, and they could be the best defense in the NFL if Talanoa Hufanga and Drake Greenlaw have anything left in the tank. It's a really, really good defense they have in Denver. They're going to be a problem on that side of the ball. But again, Bo Nix is kind of a bad team merchant, and we'll see what it looks like when they play the elite teams on their schedule when they get to the postseason. I don't have high hopes for them when they get there, but they're going to get there. I think the Bengals get there too. I think that the defense was so bad last year, it almost can't help but have even just a dead cat bounce. And if you get that with Joe Burrow doing Joe Burrow stuff, that's good for 9 wins. That's good for the postseason. I'll go off the board a little bit with my third wild card. I will take the New England Patriots. I think there are wins to be harvested in the AFC East because I think the Dolphins and the Jets are going to suck out loud. Mike Vrabel's good at this.
Yes.
We verifiably know that Mike Vrabel is a good head coach, gets the most out of his teams, and Drake May, I think, is an ascending star. I think the Patriots snagged the last wild card spot in the AFC.
Weird to say it, but I would like to see it. I think that's an interesting team. And again, I like Drake May. The reason I think they're a year away is I think they're still kind of building that culture that you need. Like, they cut Jabril Peppers 9 days after cutdown day. They're like, yeah, we don't want you anymore. See ya. Which is a very
captain.
Yeah, that's like a very Belichickian move, and I don't necessarily hate it, but I think that's kind of a sign that, yeah, we still need to instill some of our cultural things here. But I like the pick.
All right, let's shift to the NFC, and we'll start like we did in the AFC in the Western Division. We'll start with Spencer's pick. Spencer, who you got in the West?
Yeah, the West, I mean, you said it. Your Seahawks aren't going to be very good this year, and I don't think a lot of the division is going to be very good. This is one of those 9-win division winners, I think, for me, and that's the Rams. Rams take it, and that's hinging on Matt Stafford staying healthy.
I'm actually going to disagree with both of you. Not only do I think the Seahawks are better than bad, I think this is clearly the best division in all of football this year. And I think the Seahawks have a chance to win the division. I'm not going to pick that because I'm picking the Los Angeles Rams. There is a very real chance that by Sunday evening, that pick is worthless because Will Howard broke Matt Stafford into a million pieces, or at least his back into a million pieces. But I'm going to go with the Rams here. I think they've got too much offensive firepower. I like their defensive pieces. It all just comes down to whether or not Matt Stafford is happy.
Will Anderson, not
Will
Howard.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, coming off the IR,
yeah,
changing positions and changing teams.
I don't know why I thought about Will Howard. Yeah, Will Anderson. Thank you.
I'm going with the 49ers. I just don't trust Stafford's health, and I think that we are overrating the Rams based on one very good playoff performance last year. That was not a very good regular season football team in the first place. They were great against the Vikings, and then the only reason they were close against the Eagles is because it snowed 10 feet. I don't think that's actually a good team, and if Stafford goes down, I think they're in real trouble. I think the 49ers will find a way. Typically, if you give Kyle Shanahan a healthy quarterback, which they did not have last year, they find a way to win their division. And if they have Brock Purdy, keep him upright, keep him in the lineup, I think they'll make it shake, and I think the 49ers win the West. It brings me less than no joy to say this, but I'm going with the Niners.
Even with all their woes last year, they still finished top 10 in the league in EPA.
That's wild.
Insane.
In the North, I think I would have had a different pick a week ago, but I think Micah Parsons makes the Packers the favorite here. So I'm going with Green Bay to win the North. I think Detroit's brain drain is most concerning for me. I like their roster. They're already suffering some defensive injuries. They're a little less deep than they have been, but they lost both their coordinators. That's a hard thing to lose both your coordinators and keep chugging. I don't think they're going to win 15 games again. I certainly don't think the Vikings are going to win 14, though I do think they'll be good. I think the Packers have a chance to be the cream of this crop, 12 wins. Micah Parsons, maybe Defensive Player of the Year if he's healthy. I think the Packers are the favorites for me.
I think all 4 teams have a chance to win the division this year. I genuinely do believe that. It'll be the hardest for the Bears. I would pick them to go last, but I think they'll be certainly improved. The Vikings, it all comes down to the quarterback who hasn't played in a while and didn't throw a ton when he was in college, but I do like J.J. McCarthy. Shout out to LaGrange Park. The big thing for me for the Lions is I think they're going to get off to a slow start. I am a little worried about that. I think Dan Campbell is one of the 5 best coaches in the NFL today. I genuinely believe that. But you have to change your offensive coordinator, change your defensive coordinator. And I'm not going to lie, I'm very worried that Jameson Williams said he gets to play more free in this offense. He's like the least trustworthy receiver in the NFL for non-insane person reasons. Like, no, you need structure. That is what makes Jameson Williams work. You need structure, man. I was going to pick Green Bay even before the Micah Parsons trade because I can't help myself, but I'm going to go with Green Bay.
And Spencer.
I'm going with Green Bay as well. I've been tinkering with that in my head, and I think Green Bay is going to be legit this year.
All right, let's go to the NFC South. Brendan, who you got?
Oh, this division's gross. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. It's the chalky pick. Everyone else just has way too many concerns. I'd love to go with Carolina, but I don't have quite enough trust in that. Tampa with another new offensive coordinator, though, that is risky. I think they win 9 or 10 games. That gets it done.
Spencer.
I'm going to go with the Bucks, and I agree with what Brennan said.
In the words of Mo Sislak from The Simpsons, I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to go with a change at the top of the South this year. I think the Falcons have a lot of talent. If Penix is halfway decent, I think they can make it work on offense enough. They've tried to make some additions on defense. I hate a lot of what their front office has done. I think they don't have a very good front office, but they have Bijan Robinson,
yes,
and they have a young quarterback, and I think their coach is slightly less of a dunce than Tampa Bay's head coach, and that could be enough to tip the division. I'm going with the Falcons as the winners of the NFC South. That's one I feel like I'm going to regret. In the NFC East, the Eagles still have the best roster in the NFL. It's not as good as it was last year. It's not as deep. You always take that hit after you win a Super Bowl. You lose a lot of your important guys, but clearly that's a program with guys who know how to win. They're still going to be gnarly on defense. They're still going to have the best offensive line, the best short yardage weapon in the game. I think the Eagles win the East. What say you, Brendan?
Yeah, I'm going with the Eagles as well. I think to counter the brain drain point we made about the Lions, I don't really know how good Kellen Moore was as an offensive coordinator, to be honest with you. Like, their offense was kind of middling for a lot of last season. I'm going to go with the Eagles. I think this is a really fun division. I think the Commanders have a good chance. I think the Giants will be better. They're going to make someone really mad at some point with that defensive line. But I'm going to go with the Eagles. I still think they have the best roster in the conference as well.
And, Spencer, you wouldn't dare make the homer pick here, would you?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, I'm not making the homer pick. Yeah, I'm picking the Commanders. I think they got better for the most part than they were last year. Obviously, you found yourself a left tackle. He might be getting up there in age, but you found yourself a left tackle. You hopefully found yourself a first-round right tackle, and you've got your right guard hurt, but you've got a formidable guy in there, duo in there between Andrew Wiley and Nick Allegretti, two former Chiefs. And then you've got Deebo Samuel. I mean, he's not the guy that you thought he was, or that he was back in the day, right? But he's sure a guy that can bring some tricks to things when it comes to the offense that Cliff Kingsbury likes to run. And running back wise, they might have gotten rid of Brian Robinson, but they've got Bill. Just stay tuned for Bill. They got they got better in the defensive backfield. The only place I think they were stagnant at is the defensive line.
All right. We'll stay with you, Spencer, and give us your 3 wildcard teams.
I'm going to go with the Eagles, Lions, and 49ers. So the Eagles, obviously, I think it's going to be a fight for the NFC East, and the Commanders just notch in over them. And the Lions, obviously, you guys talked about what they've got going on there, but I think they do end up making the playoffs. A 10-11 win team to max out there at 11. And the 49ers surprised some people. They look, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl with 3 wide receivers that were on the roster of the 49ers. So why can't the 49ers have success? But in all seriousness,
bold, but I like it.
All seriousness, they're going to get some stuff back hopefully in the middle of the season when it comes to players, and CMC hopefully is back for the good. So I got the 49ers as my final wild card spot in the NFC.
Sala returning, big deal for that defense. I've got the Niners as the first wild card. Second wild card, give me the Detroit Lions. Third, Arizona Cardinals. They're funky. I don't know if they're good, but they're funky.
I am going with 3 NFC Central.
Hell
NFC
yeah.
North. I'm so old.
Good for the
man.
Buccaneers.
Oh, my God. First, there was a Nestea plunge reference on yesterday's show. Now it's me calling it the NFC Central.
Where's Chris Hovan?
Oh, my God. Can we call Bryce Pop? See if anybody's heard from him lately. Lions and the Vikings join the Packers in the playoffs. My third wild card team, the New York Football Giants.
Okay. Hey, dude, that might be the best defensive line in football. So Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau is their 4th best player on their line. That's a hell of a group.
Yeah, I can't quit Russell Wilson, clearly.
Yeah.
But whoever's throwing the ball is going to have Malik Neighbors throw the ball too. I just think that's a team with a lot of really solid pieces. Spencer, I am not doing it on purpose. My concern with the Commanders is they are old as dirt for an NFL team. And I know Jalen
They've
Daniels is young and
dog.
exciting.
You bring experience to the team.
One person's experience is one person's 1 foot in the football grave.
Here comes the oldest man alive. He's 31 years old.
They had the
Oldest
oldest team in
player
the
in
NFL
NFL
last year, too. What did they do?
And they're a year older. Anyway, we'll get to our Super Bowl predictions and our award predictions in a minute. But first, we're going to take a break because we're overdue for a break. We'll come back with a little What Is Wrong With You here on 580 Sports Talk, live from Prairie Band Casino and Resort and the Prairie Band Sportsbook. So what is wrong with you time on 580 Sports Talk? 2 new stories competing today. Try to take down our current winner, the old man in Kentucky who trashed Treasure Trove Park because he did not agree with the company's values and flipped vehicles with a skid loader and drove it towards another man's home on the property. He was disgruntled because he didn't agree with some of the company's views and values. It's a very strange company. It appears on its surface to be a family fun park, but if you go and you visit their website, you will immediately become terrified and just have some concerns about the park itself.
Yeah.
So can only imagine what the values are that our guy didn't like. 2 new stories. Say, Brendan, you've got a story today. I'm going to let you start.
All right. I do have a story for you, a Florida woman story, of course. She was actually convicted this week of choking her mother and grabbing her brother by the groin in an argument spurred by a missing PlayStation 4 game. Not even a PS5 game. This is PS4 we're talking here.
Hey, the PS5 is more expensive now than it was 5 years ago, so I understand if you're still haven't upgraded the console yet.
Wow, that's awesome. A Marion County jury last week convicted 21-year-old Alexandra Dominguez of domestic battery charges by strangulation and battery after deliberating for just 20 minutes. Wow, she was mega guilty. Back last April, Dominguez followed her mother and brother to a park, from a park to their home off 43rd Terrace Road in Ocala to grab a PS4. The victims told Dominguez to wait outside so they could get the game console and give it to her. When they handed it over, she became irate over a missing game. A verbal argument began just outside the front door and quickly turned physical. Dominguez first attacked her mother, grabbing her by the throat. The mother escaped and ran inside, but Dominguez chased her and pushed her onto the couch. She again put her hands on her mother's throat and choked her for about a minute, according to the arrest affidavit. Based on the statement by the reportee and length of time, one could reasonably believe that blood flow to the reportee's throat was restricted.
Eesh.
The brother tried to intervene, but Dominguez, quote, grabbed his groin and squeezed and pulled the hair on his beard. Dominguez was eventually removed from the home, but continued to pound on the front door. She drove back to her home in Naples, but the cops later arrested her. She has not yet been sentenced. No word on what game it was. I'm guessing GTA 5.
Yeah, like what game would you grab somebody by the groin over?
Where is my copy of Madden 22?
The Tony Hawk remake.
Do they still make the games currently? Like, can you still buy new games for PS4? I don't know.
I think they stopped a couple years ago.
That's what I
I
thought.
think they may have stopped.
They
Yeah.
did for quite a while, but I think they finally curtailed those.
My story, we're going to Japan, and we meet an Australian tourist who desecrated a cemetery. He was
Ew.
visiting a town I'm not even going to try to pronounce in the Yamanashi prefecture. And he uploaded videos to social media of himself in a local cemetery.
Fujiwara Guchiko, by the way.
Fujikawa Guchiko?
Fujiwara Guchiko.
Sure, you got it. One of the videos
Brother
shows
said.
the man approaching a gravesite where either family members, friends, or loved ones had left a canned cocktail as an offering for the deceased. The Australian man walked up to the tombstone, put a coin on it, picked up the can, cracked it open, chugged it, and then clinked the can against the tombstone as though he was doing a cheers.
I mean, shoot, I think that's kind of nice.
The story from Sora News 24 says, absolutely none of this is acceptable behavior in Japanese culture. Offerings of food and drink are commonly left by family and friends at grave sites. They are for the memory of the deceased. They are most certainly not refreshments for some traveling ditz to help himself to. Editorializing a little bit, Sora News 24. And no, slapping some coins on the tombstone and treating it like a vending machine does not make it any less acceptable. The man also showed himself tossing the empty can to the ground inside the cemetery, brandishing a model pistol, and swinging around a wooden grave marker bearing posthumous Buddhist names of individual members of the deceased family, which he apparently removed from one of the graves. So, like, total disrespect to the dead.
This is just like a common Australian behavior, though.
Yeah, like Aussies are super chill. Like we have the reputation of them being like pretty chill, laid back, and not the way to go, not the way to move through a Japanese cemetery.
Yeah, I mean, Lachlan here was just trying to have a good time. I bet he wished he had a Foster's.
The prefectural police say they are investigating the matter. They already obviously know who did it. Maybe they'll ban him from Japan.
Banned from Japan is a great Tinder bio, though.
It really is. Like, it's a great story to tell at the bars in Sydney or Melbourne. Yeah, I can't go back to Japan, mate.
Oi.
Oi. All right, who wins today? The groin grabber, PS4 groin grabber, or the disrespect to the dead?
You know, I was actually going to go with the groin grabber until we got to like the actual desecration of other graves and taking stuff from them. I think that one puts it over the top. Although he was just being friendly, just being a pal to the dead.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
I'm gonna go with that one.
All
Yeah,
right,
me as
does
well.
that? I'm gonna. Yeah. So it's unanimous. Does that beat the skid steer guy?
No.
Ooh, man.
I
don't think so. That's close, but I'm going to say no.
Yeah, guy went nuts with the skid steer. 70-something went nuts with the skid steer.
That happens about once a year, and it makes it onto this segment every time.
Yeah.
Me too. A lot of skid steer crime on the show. That continues as our winner on What Is Wrong With You. We'll take a timeout, come back, give you the rest of our NFL season predictions here on 580 Sports Talk. 447 on 580 Sports Talk, live from Prairie Band Sportsbook at the Prairie Band Casino and Resort. You got a couple hours to get out here before kickoff of Cowboys and Eagles start the NFL season. Coming out before that, say hi to Brendan and I. We're here live at Prairie Band Sportsbook. I'm Dan. That's Brendan alongside. Spencer's back at the ranch up on Huntoon Hill. So we've given you our playoff teams. Now let's give you our championship game combatants. We'll start in the AFC. The Arrowhead Invitational will once again be held in January of 2026. The Kansas City Chiefs will be hosting the AFC Championship game. They will be hosting the Baltimore Ravens, and they will be beating the Baltimore Ravens to return to their fourth straight Super Bowl. I think this is a better Chiefs team on paper than the Chiefs team, either of the Chiefs teams the last 2 years. I think they will be better on defense than last year's team. I think they will be better on offense than last year's team. And I think that they still have the mental edge over those other AFC contenders. And until I see somebody beat them, I don't believe they can. So it's the Chiefs over the Ravens in the AFC title game for me. What do you say, Brendan?
I am going to pick entirely based on history. This is not necessarily about the current status of these teams. I am going to pick based on the fact that only one team has ever made it to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row. And I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. And I know, when are the Bills going to beat the Chiefs in a game that actually matters? I thought you wanted to see it to believe it. Yes, I understand that. I also have the internet and know a little bit about NFL history. It doesn't happen. Would I be shocked? No, of course I wouldn't be shocked. The Chiefs are still the best team in the AFC, and I believe that. That's kind of the beauty of the NFL playoffs is you just have to be the lesser team on one day. And I'm going to say that the Chiefs are denied history. But I do want to ask you this question. What do you think would be more crushing for the Bills? They get to the Super Bowl and lose it again, or they get beaten by the Chiefs again in the AFC Championship?
Getting beaten by the Chiefs, I just think it gets more and more demoralizing for them as the years go by.
I think that's fair. I will also add this caveat. If this does not happen, this will be the final year for Sean McDermott in Buffalo.
Interesting. Spencer, what do you got?
Wow, that was
AFC title game.
That's a bomb there. I've got the Arrowhead Invitational once again. Kansas City over Buffalo. Prove me wrong when the proof's in the pudding. If nobody's going to beat Kansas City at home and win it, so I got the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl.
I am surprised you guys are both going with Buffalo. I think Baltimore is clearly better than Buffalo. I think the returns are starting to diminish a little bit in Buffalo. That's an old team with some real secondary concerns, and I don't think that's a team that makes a deep playoff run. But it's why we have the conversation.
I guess my argument would be, why should I trust Baltimore?
Best roster.
They had the best roster last year. They didn't make it
and a coach who has, not in the current iteration, but has won a big game.
He has. I agree. And look, I think Baltimore is really, really good. I guess my hang-up is, at what point does the best roster in football need to play like it when it's cold out?
All right, snake draft style. Spencer, quickly, give us your NFC Championship game pick. You wouldn't dare make the homer pick, would you?
I think I got some good feelings in there. I think it'll be the Landover Invitational this year in the dump. Washington over Green Bay.
All right, the 580 Sports Talk Bowl. It could get real spicy on the show if we get that conference.
It will get very unpleasant if that happens. I'm going to tell you right now.
Brendan, who you got NFC title game?
I hate this. Niners over Packers.
Wow, very 90s.
Yeah, it makes me sick. My entire damn life. I can't stand losing this damn team over and over, but alas.
Very 90s of you. I am taking Green Bay. I think Green Bay beats Detroit in the
Ooh, you want to talk about nasty. Oof.
Yeah, Green Bay over Detroit in the conference title game, which means our Super Bowl matchups for Spencer, Kansas City, Washington. Spencer, who's going to win Super Bowl 60?
Commanders run out of gas. Kansas City continues its dynastic run.
The Chiefs back on top. Brendan.
Buffalo over the 49ers.
It finally happens.
And Kyle Shanahan loses again on the big stage, which is very funny.
Nothing would be funnier.
So funny.
Nothing in the world would be funnier to me. I am picking the Chiefs. I keep picking the Chiefs, and they keep getting at least to the Super Bowl. So why would I not keep picking the Chiefs?
Look at you guys. I'm going to make a smart bet.
I'm going to go with the thing we've seen a lot in recent memory. Look, There's only two quarterbacks who've beaten Mahomes, three quarterbacks who've beaten Mahomes in the playoffs. One of them's retired. One of them I don't think he's going to see. One of them is Joe Burrow. I don't think he'll see him in this year's playoffs either. I don't see anybody standing between this team and a return. The only thing standing in their way, I think, would be general fatigue or injury, stopping them short. There's, again, almost no history of teams going to 4 straight Super Bowls. It's only happened once. But the fact that this happened once makes you believe it can happen again. And if it can happen again, and it's the Chiefs back in a big game, as long as they can protect their quarterback, I'm with Matt Verderame on this. If they're just okay on the left side of the offensive line, they're winning the Super Bowl. And I think they got a chance with Simmons especially to be better than okay. Let's get some names. MVP. You already know I'm going with Mahomes. Spencer, who are you taking as MVP?
I am taking Mahomes as well.
Clean sweep.
Patrick Mahomes,
I got
MVP.
Mahomes too.
All
I
right,
think he's pissed off.
Brendan, Offensive Player of the Year.
Offensive Player of the Year, give me CeeDee Lamb.
Wow, fascinating.
They are going to have to throw the ball so much. And George Pickens is crazy.
He is. He's a crazy person. Spencer, Offensive Player of the Year.
I got Jaden Daniels. I think his running and passing ability is what's going to get him there. I think obviously Patrick Mahomes is the guy, right? He's the perennial MVP. Like, he's been MVP so many times. I don't think we're just quite
Just
yet
the
to
name.
handing over the MVP trophy to the youngin yet.
I'm going to Bijan Robinson, Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, Spencer.
Myles Garrett, his play speaks for itself, and he's the bright spot on a horrible team.
Brendan, just the name. Defensive Player of the Year.
Max Crosby.
I am going with Micah Parsons. Offensive Rookie of the Year, just the name, Brendan.
Oh, my God. Cam Ward is going to go to a quarterback.
Spencer.
Ashton Genty.
I like that Genty pick a lot, not just because he's on one of my fantasy teams. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going with Abdul Carter. I think he's a beast. Spencer?
I'm with him with you as well.
Yeah, I go with Carter.
Just clean sweep there. Those are our predictions for the 2025 NFL season. We'll take a break, come back, wrap up this hour, 580 Sports Talk. Wrapping up hour number 2 of 580 Sports Talk from Prairie Band Casino and Resort, the Prairie Band Sportsbook. We are 1 day away from Chiefs kickoff, which means our Chiefs countdown to kickoff ends today.
All right.
We're down to our last one. Number 1, of course, is Xavier Worthy. And here at the Prairie Band Sportsbook, he has the best anytime touchdown odds of any player in tomorrow night's Chiefs-Chargers game. He is plus 110 to score an anytime touchdown.
Ahead of McConkey.
McConkey is plus 143. Omari and Hampton for the Chargers is plus 138. But Xavier Worthy is plus 110 as an anytime touchdown scorer. If you want to bet $10 on that happening, you can do that here at Prairie Band Sportsbook, and then you will get a $10 free bet to use on somebody else or some other game or anything you want. Or it could be $10 in Prairie Cash. You can take it to the casino floor if you'd like to do that. $10 bet gets you $10 free here today at Prairie Band Sportsbook at the Prairie Band Casino and Resort. We got one more hour of 580 Sports Talk coming up. We got headlines. We're going to hear a pregame preview from Mitch Holtis. We're going to hear from Topeka High head football coach Jason Philbeck. We'll preview the Royals. Lots more to come in the final hour of 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Third and final hour on 580 Sports Talk, live on location on this Thursday evening from Prairie Band Sportsbook at the Prairie Band Casino and Resort in Mayetta to celebrate the start of the NFL season tonight. Where else would you rather be to watch the Cowboys and the Eagles tonight than here at Prairie Band Sportsbook? Because that game can make you some money if you're a savvy wagerer tonight. Coming out and join us. We're here until 6 o'clock on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on YouTube, 580 Sports Talk, and on our Facebook page at WIBW News. Dan Lucero, Brendan Wrzinski, and Spencer Dupuis, all with you this afternoon. We are with you until 6 o'clock. Then we'll hand things off to the Royals Baseball Network. Game 3 of 3 between the Royals and the Angels. Royals trying to avoid a sweep after a very frustrating loss last night to the Angels. They've dropped the first 2 of that series. And even though Seattle is trying to give away their playoff spot, nobody seems willing in the American League to take it, least of all the Royals, who've now dropped 4 of 5. They'll try and right the ship tonight, 6:40, first pitch from Kauffman Stadium. We'll talk a little bit more about that game later on this hour. Also still to come this hour, a preview of tomorrow night's Chiefs-Chargers game from the great Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Chiefs. Usually will join us live on Thursdays throughout the NFL season, but of course, a little harder for him to do that. He's traveling, he's in Brazil, but he did leave us a little game preview delivered in the fashion that only Mitch Holthus can deliver a game preview.
Oh, I thought you were going to say delivered in Portuguese. You're telling me Mitch?
That'd be cool.
You're telling me Mitch didn't spend on the international minutes plan?
Look, he might be like adventuring. He might be checking out Sao Paulo tonight.
It's in the jungle.
Listen, I don't know how often you get to make it to Sao Paulo. But
exactly never.
Yeah,
but
I've never been. So, like, yeah, he's probably exploring the space, making friends, maybe learning some Portuguese.
I would hope so.
I don't know how you say touchdown Kansas City in Portuguese.
I believe
it might come out on tomorrow night's broadcast. You never know.
I think that's one of those words that doesn't change in different languages, like a home run. I think it's just touchdown.
There are Spanish words for home run, quadrangular.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All I know is
Yolbron.
All I know is the old Kenny Mayne bit about when he has some former player, like, how do you say home run? Is it like quadruplo? Like, how do you say it? And the guy just said home run. And so that's why for the rest of his career, that was Kenny Mayne's Sports Center home run catchphrase. Yeah. Home run.
Yeah. Well, we will hear from Mitch a little bit later on this hour. We will also hear later this hour, because we'll have a little more space in that segment than we typically will, because typically we'll be talking to Mitch. We'll have the back and forth. We'll have the interview with the voice of the Chiefs. We're just going to hear a little bit from Mitch and his game preview, what to expect, what to look for in the opener tomorrow night against the Chargers from Brazil, a game you can hear Mitch's call of over on our sister station tomorrow night. The Big 94.5 Country will have the coverage on the Chiefs Radio Network, 6 o'clock pregame, 7 o'clock kick. We'll also hear the start of our 580 Preps Coaches Club for 2025. Why are we starting it tonight? Well, the season is starting tonight for the Topeka High Trojans. They open at home against Wichita West, and Jason Philbeck, their head coach, spoke with me earlier this week. So we'll hear from Jason Philbeck. We'll hear from the city's other 7 head football coaches tomorrow on 580 Sports Talk for week 1 of the 580 Preps Coaches Club. But we'll hear from Jason Philbeck, the head coach of the Trojans, in his second season in just a little bit. We'll also look ahead to tonight's Royals game and tonight's NFL season opener, the Cowboys and the Eagles, a game with slightly less shine than it had a week ago when we expected that Micah Parsons would surely suit up for the Dallas Cowboys. Surely they wouldn't be dumb enough to trade the league's best defensive player for pennies on the dollar. Well, they were, and now the Cowboys kind of feel a bit like a team adrift as they take on the defending champs in Philadelphia at Lincoln Financial Field tonight. We'll break that one down in a little bit. Maybe you want to get some action on that game tonight here at Prairie Band Sportsbook. Still an opportunity for you to do that. If you come to the window anytime between right this second and September 8th, and you make a $10 bet at the table, at the window at the sportsbook, you will get either, your choice, a $10 free bet or $10 in Prairie Cash to use however you'd like on the casino floor. Bet 10, get 10 through September 8th at Prairie Band Sportsbook. Also, if you want to hop in on Prairie Band's Pro Football Tournament, it is ongoing. It starts with week 1. You need to be registered by noon on Sunday for the noon kickoffs. If you miss the first 2 games, you just don't get to pick those first 2 games. But you got to have your entry in before noon on Sunday. Now, you can register online, and that's all well and good. PFTrules.com, $100 per entry, max 10 entries. Winner, season-long winner, gets $5,000 in cash. Pick 5 games a week, pick the most right, win the cash. Very simple. But you can register here today in person at the Prairie Band Sportsbook. And if you do it today in person, you will be registered to win 3 tickets to Chiefs-Eagles Sunday night or Sunday afternoon football. It's a 325 kick. Sunday, September 14th, the home opener for the Chiefs, the Super Bowl rematch. You will be registered into a drawing for a chance to win those 3 tickets to see the Chiefs and the Eagles if you register to play in the Prairie Band Pro Football Tournament here in person at the window today at Prairie Band Sportsbook. Get it, got it, good.
I'm also going to pitch something else because I've been looking at it throughout the show today, along with our notes about the tournament. At the Embers Bar and Grill here at Prairie Band, they
right
have
behind us if you're watching on camera on our YouTube stream.
Fajita burrito. That sounds delicious.
Oh, yeah. I'd crush one of those.
Ground beef or chicken fajita meat, shredded cheddar, grilled fajita peppers, grilled pico, served with fries, salsa, and sour cream. That sounds delicious.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm into.
Yeah,
that sounds phenomenal.
Really sounds good.
I'm really hungry.
Yeah.
Every time I go on the road, I get extra hungry.
Yeah.
And it's the drive. That extra 21 minutes in the car really makes me hungry.
Again, we are at Prairie Band Sportsbook. This is the place to be for tonight's season opener, for tomorrow night's Chiefs game, for all of the football action throughout the fall. Bet your way with Prairie Band Sportsbook.
A comment here on the 580 Sports Talk YouTube live comment section from our guy Liam Keating. Shout out to Liam. Speaking of foreign languages as well, wants a Latin call of a touchdown for Hayden games this year to really theme it, the whole Catholic school thing.
I'm gonna. We'll see. No promises, Liam. No promises. But
do you know any Latin?
I don't know. Sic semper tyrannis.
I took
ad astra per aspera.
I took 3 years of Latin in high school.
Carpe diem.
You took 3 years of Latin?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't want to do Spanish, so I took Latin.
So you did a harder language?
I didn't either.
It was
so I took
easy.
French.
It was easy. I aced I didn't want to take the AP class, so I just didn't take a language senior year.
How much of it is held? Could you give us a prediction for tonight's Cowboys-Eagles game in Latin?
Definitely no.
Okay.
That was
That's fine.
That was 10 years ago, the last class I took.
I not a lot of Spanish has stuck for me, and I took 7 years of it, and I took it through middle school and into high school, but none of it stuck for me either. Jerry Jones, estupido.
I know that in every language.
Los Cowboys son screwed. Los Vaqueros son in trouble. That's what they are. I got my Spanglish is on point.
If I thought hard enough, I could probably do something in French. I'm up to, I think, is like 190 days on my Duolingo streak as well. So I'm refreshing it.
Oh wow!
I'm using that stuff.
Hey, do you want to hear
all those times I don't go to Europe?
Do you want to hear Google translates touchdown Kansas City to Portuguese?
Yes, please.
Oh, I thought you were going to read it.
No,
we cannot hear the speaker of your phone.
No, that's.
I don't know. It's not working. It worked off.
No. Bail. We're done. Let's get to headlines. Let's get to our 580 Sports Talk headlines here on 580 Sports Talk. We will begin with some news and notes from the Kansas City Royals, who today placed starting pitcher Seth Lugo on the 15-day injured list. I have been of the belief for about a month that something's not right with Seth Lugo, and apparently some back soreness, back tightness cropped up in the last couple of days. The Royals were really cautious of it. They wouldn't announce their rotation for the weekend, and now we know that lower back strain is going to put Lugo on the 15-day injured list. Very well may end the season for Lugo, who was pretty good right up through the end of July when the Royals really needed him to continue to be good. And August and the end of July were an absolute nightmare for the veteran. He's got 2 more years on his contract, signed that extension, so the Royals are going to hope he gets back to health and gets back to form probably in 2026. Stephen Kolek, who impressed in his Royals debut on Saturday in Detroit, got the call from AAA and is likely to take Lugo's rotation spot. Also, some good news for Cole Reagans. He's been throwing pain-free through to hitters the other day, and it sounds like if there are no setbacks, Reagans will make a rehab start at either AA Northwest Arkansas or AAA Omaha sometime this weekend, and that would put him on track to potentially return to the Royals rotation next week, albeit in a limited capacity. If he only got 1 rehab start, you would imagine he'd be on a pitch count for his return to the big leagues, and then maybe full-time, full go for his 2nd or 3rd major league start. But it's trending towards a return for Cole Reagans, and hopefully it's not looking good, but hopefully Reagans can start in games that mean something for the Kansas City Royals. But those are your Royals-related headlines today. Seth Lugo, his struggles have a name, a lower back strain, and he is headed to the injured list and very well may miss the remainder of 2025.
Yeah, it's a bummer, man. And look, I don't think it was ever super realistic that Lugo was going to have a pure repeat of last year and how good he was last year. And it even synced up. I mean, you talked about it on the show, Dan, that like, hey, there was a time just after the All-Star break last year where Lugo really hit a lull. And it really is feeling like a repeat of 2024. And then when he never was really able to break out of it, yeah, you could tell something was wrong. It's a bummer for Lugo. I mean, he tried to push through it, but that's tough. That's one of those things that comes to light usually for a team that you can tell is kind of on their last legs. All right, my first headline for us today, first reported by Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports, has since been reported elsewhere too. The NCAA Football Oversight Committee voted today to support a single transfer portal, again, for football, in January, ushering in a significant change. The administrative committee still needs to adopt that change later on. The 10-day window is expected to open January 2nd, which means it would run the 2nd through the 11th. The vote on this is expected, according to Max Olson of ESPN, no later than October 1st. I'm not necessarily opposed to this. I think the 2 windows make it difficult for roster building. I do think that is a challenge, and I can understand that.
You guys entered the portal twice in an offseason.
Kean Burnett, the tight end from Arizona, who transferred to KU and then transferred back to Arizona after spring practice. There is an example for you. And I can understand why teams don't want that to be the case. Because, like, okay, if you're Lance Leipold, hey, man, we taught you at least part of our playbook, and you're going to take it back to a different Big 12 team? What the hell? Like, what are you doing there? And, there are guys who technically went to one school and then left. And in terms of the academics, not that anyone cares about that anymore, but this is good in that regard because it doesn't get talked about enough that these guys, I think Paul Meyerberg actually brought it up to us once, like these guys who transfer to 4 different schools, you ain't getting a degree. Like unless you stay in school after, because there's no way the credits are going to change with, stay similar with all those different changes. But, I digress from that point on. So I can understand from a roster building perspective and from a coaching perspective why this makes sense. And again, I'm not completely against it. I do think there are some drawbacks here. Number one being, okay, so what happens if you expected something to what about a coaching change? And coaching changes, I guess that's not a fair point because they open a new window when guys change. But okay, you expect to have a starting job or a playing role going into the spring. You get injured, you get Wally pipped. You just find out, hey, this isn't for me. I'm not going to play because of what happened in spring practice. And then what? You're just going to lose a year? That's it? That's done? Not everybody can do the thing that Jake Retzlaff did and just withdraw from school and walk on elsewhere. Not everyone can do that feasibly. So that is where, for the players, I do have some negative feelings about this because – again, it's not always a one-way street. The coaches and the administrators love to tell you that players just quit, and they transferred because they quit on us, except the guys who came in, they didn't quit. They just wanted to be a part of the program. Not really sure how that logic works out. But it's always about the player. Well, the player did this, player did this. Well, sometimes the coaches tell guys, hey, I love you, man, but it's just not going to work out for you here. Or sometimes it's a whole lot less formal than that, and it's, yeah, you ain't playing it out. Like, that's what it comes down to sometimes. So now those guys who thought they were going to play and then are told, hey, you're not going to play, sorry, senior year, then they're kind of stuck. And I do feel for those guys. This is going to take away an opportunity from them.
So the Power 4 conferences were 3-1 in favor of January for the single portal. The Big Ten was the only one of the major conferences to prefer a spring portal. It was always likely they were going to go down to 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the most of the leagues were in favor of the January portal. Joey McGuire told the Athletic head coach of Texas Tech, I want January, quote, I want to get my team, I want to roll and get ready for winter conditioning, spring football, and I want to take that team into the fall. Now, there is an issue for teams that are in the college football playoff, because the window opens while you're still playing playoff games, while you're still getting ready for that semifinal and that final. And that is something that those programs are going to have to contend with. But as Kirby Smart, the head coach of Georgia, put it, nobody wants to hear you complain from a yacht. And that's kind of where those programs are. Like, that's one of those champagne problems. If it's a problem that we have, that's a good problem to have, because, hey, that means that we're in the college football playoff and we're playing in the semifinals. So I think this is a change for the better. I think it will at least put a stop to some of the more egregious examples of roster shaping and NIL deals and things like that I know have frustrated fans, frustrated coaches, even frustrated players. I do see your points against doing this, your argument for 2 portal windows, but for the sake of the relative ease and the ability to prepare and know who you've got on your team when you go into spring, go into summer, go into fall, it was always likely to be 1 portal window, and now we know that portal window will be open in January.
One ancillary addition, too, I wonder if this brings back more spring games.
I wonder,
because that was the big reason
that was the whole
why
thing. You didn't want to put anything on tape, right?
So so guys couldn't, other teams couldn't come and recruit your guys after spring practice and the second window and all that. I wonder if a program like Ohio State or Tech or whoever will say, okay, well, now we're more willing to do this because we know our guys aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, we can.
I hope that's the case, because that's one of the cool traditions of college football.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Spencer, give us a headline.
Yes, Topeka's own University of Kansas graduate and 2019 U.S. Open champion Gary Woodland has been chosen for induction into the University of Kansas Athletics Hall of Fame. It was announced today by KU Athletics. The induction ceremony set to take place Friday, September 19th at the Jayhawk Club in Lawrence. Looking back at his career at KU, he's one of the most decorated golfers in KU history, competing there from 04 to 07 before embarking on his professional career. As a Jayhawk, he's a 2-time All Big 12 selection, earning postseason honors in 06 and 07 while earning an All Big 12 tournament selection in 2006. He competed in a total of 50 events for KU, claiming individual wins in the 05 Cleveland State Invitational, 06 Kansas Invitational, 07 All-American Golf Classic, and 07 Louisiana Classic. His 4 career wins rank second in program history. He qualified for an NCAA regional 3 times in his career, twice as part of the team in 04 and 07, and once as an individual in 06. He left the program as the program leader with 26 career rounds in the 60s, a mark still sits second in KU history. He played in 145 rounds as the Jayhawks, shooting par or less 59 times on his way to a career 73.33 career stroke average. Obviously well-deserved for the Topeka native, and the golf was his second career, correct?
Yeah, he started as a basketball player at Washburn and ended up giving up the hoops when he tried to guard Kirk Heinrich and realized that maybe basketball wasn't the right play for him, and decided to go the golf route instead. And best decision certainly that Gary Woodland's ever made. He's had a great career, and the U.S. Open Championship being a highlight of that. And he's a proud Jayhawk. He represents well for Topeka, for Kansas, and for the University of Kansas wherever he goes. And this is a great, great honor for Gary.
There were great clips they showed on ESPN after he won the U.S. Open of when he played for Coach Chipman in an exhibition against KU. I still have them bookmarked on Twitter, in fact, because they got shared on social media after the fact. He took a charge in an exhibition game at one point. So, no, this is awesome for Gary. They KU Athletics on all their social media, they posted the video of Travis Goff and the golf coaching staff calling him, FaceTiming him to tell him the news. And he was super emotional. So he was taking one of his kids to swimming lessons when they made the call, and he was getting emotional on video. It was just really cool to see. And everybody and I'm obviously not a golf guy, but even I know everybody in that world will tell you how good of a guy Gary is. We've had him on the show. You and I have talked to him a couple of times, Dan. He and Jake know each other a little bit too, and just really happy for him, a guy who represents that university well, and I'm very happy that he's going to get inducted.
And he will be representing the United States as the associate captain for the Ryder Cup at the end of this month. That's, Bethpage Black. So we'll see more Gary on our TV at the Ryder Cup. One last headline to get to. It is from Kansas State football. Redshirt freshman edge rusher Ja'Shawn Ross has been removed from the team following his arrest early Wednesday morning. He was arrested and charged with distributing marijuana by the Arma Police Department in Crawford County. He was being held on $15,000 bond. A K-State spokesperson confirmed to WIBW and CJ Online that he is no longer with the team. He had transferred to K-State from Alabama back in January. He was a 4-star prospect out of KC Mo and had yet to play a snap for the Wildcats. The vibes in Manhattan continue to be just in the gutter right now. They need to go beat Army by a lot and restore the vibes.
Yeah, Army lost to Tarleton State.
They did.
Man, if this, I told you last week that if K-State didn't blow out North Dakota, they won by anything less than 10, I was sounding the alarm. And then they very nearly ended up losing that game, scored the game winner with under a minute to go. Same thing with Army, man. Like, that team lost their 2 best players from a year ago. If they do not crush them, I don't even know if I'll feel better if they crush them, but if they don't, I mean, you have to be terrified for Big 12 play, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, it's absolutely a red flag if they don't get it together in short order. And we were talking yesterday with Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com for a Wildcat wrap-up. And if one of their main problems is eye discipline and, not chasing the cheese on defense and communication on defense, one, it's very bad to be playing Army while that's going on, but also what better way to make sure you're refocused and back on your P's and Q's than to go in a game knowing you'd better be because it is Army. So it's a bit of maybe a silver lining there. That'll do it for 580 Sports Talk headlines. When we come back, we'll hear from the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, on 580 Sports Talk. 5:31 on 580 Sports Talk. Live from Prairie Band Sportsbook at the Prairie Band Casino and Resort in Mayetta. Come on out, watch some football tonight as the season opens with the Cowboys and the Eagles. Tomorrow night, of course, it's the Chiefs and the Chargers. If you want to watch it on YouTube. You don't need to subscribe to anything or pay for anything. It'll just be on YouTube.com. Just go watch it on YouTube. Watch it the same way you watch us on YouTube on our channel, 580 Sports Talk.
Yeah.
We bid for the rights to show the Chiefs game, but we were outbid.
So
By like broader YouTube. They had a little more money in the pockets than we did.
So they're doing a bunch of alt casts with streamers, with like professional YouTubesmen.
Yeah.
I am not looking forward to having to know who those people are when my son is old enough to watch YouTube.
I think we're just going to stop having the internet in our house.
Yeah.
So my kid never
Gonna live off the grid.
Yeah, we're just, no phone, no TV, no computer, no nothing. We're
Bluey and only Bluey.
It is nice though
on
that
DVD.
it is nice that YouTube TV has integrated the channels, them as channels.
Yes.
for
Okay.
the-
So
the
that's what
time
I wanted to
being.
get to is, on YouTube TV, the first 3 or 4 channels now, when you go to the channel guide, is like coming up soon, and it's the Chiefs Chargers Sao Paulo broadcast featuring Destroying or featuring Yabba Gabba Ghoul or whoever it is, like all these various different streamer folks. And it's like horrifying to me how many people are going to watch those.
Yeah.
But it is very accessible. I will give them that. They are making it as accessible to as many people as possible, which is good.
Yeah.
Better than putting it on
absolutely.
Peacock or whatever.
Of course, if you want to hear the game, well, our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country, will carry the coverage tomorrow night from the Chiefs Radio Network, including the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holtis, who will typically join us at this time each Thursday here on 580 Sports Talk. Mitch Holtis' appearances on 580 Sports Talk are brought to us by Hy-Vee, your official tailgate headquarters for Kansas City Chiefs football, and by Azure Credit Union, where you can contact Crystal Rippey, Kirsten McCall, or Nassim Khan about the credit union advantage for your next home loan. But with the Chiefs in Brazil and kickoff tomorrow, we are unable to be joined live by Mitch today, but he left us with some things to ponder and some things to look for as the Chiefs kick off the season tomorrow night. Without any further ado, here's the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holtis.
Okay, guys, I'm sending you this, and got in late last night into Sao Paulo, Brazil for the Chiefs opening game tomorrow night against the Chargers. This Friday Night Lights game is full of nuggets, and I'm going to start with a fun one. You guys are going to love this one. One crazy stat that shows the uber competitiveness of the AFC West. That's the fact that the 4 coaches in the division, Andy Reid of the Chiefs, Jim Harbaugh of the Chargers, Sean Payton of the Broncos, and Pete Carroll of the Raiders, have combined for 668 regular season wins and 53 playoff wins. That's the most entering a season by a division group of coaches in NFL history. By the way, it's also the oldest group of coaches in a single division to start the season in NFL history, with an average age of 66 years and 72 days. Now, one thing is very apparent to me. Jim Harbaugh is trying to make the Chargers the Ravens of the AFC West. Jim is way different than his brother John, the coach of the Ravens, but their football philosophy is the same. Offensively, be physical. Hence, they go get former Steeler running back Najee Harris in the offseason, and they drafted the second best power running back in the draft in Omarion Hampton from North Carolina. That leads to play-action passing. Just like the Ravens, who were first in play-action passing, the Chargers were second. They had 76% completion percentage on play-action passes, nearly 1,600 passing yards, and 12 touchdowns off same. The Chargers want to be physical on defense as well. They want to beat you up. Last year, the Chargers had 11 quarterback hits on Patrick Mahomes in the first half of the narrow doink-off 19-17 win in Week 13 in Kansas City. The Chargers overall were 6th in sacks in the NFL last year. They don't have Joey Bosa anymore. He's a Buffalo Bill. But the Bolts still have future Pro Football Hall of Famer Khalil Mack and an emerging young star in Tuli Tuipulotu, whose brother is on the Chiefs roster, by the way. That's always fun. The Chiefs need to meet or exceed the physical play of the Chargers tomorrow night, and their red run defense is going to be tested in a big way. Offensively, the Chiefs want to show the explosiveness that they exhibited in the preseason, both on plays designed to be so, but also on plays that turn into big plays, not because of design, but because of the increased speed on this Chiefs team. Last year is another nugget. The Chiefs only had 3 runs of 30 yards or more all year. And that's on a 15-2 team. And Patrick Mahomes had 2 of those 3 on scrambles. The Chiefs only had 4 runs between 20 and 29 yards. Xavier Worthy had 2 of those on reverses. And McCole Hardman, no longer with the team, had 1 on a jet sweep. So you get the idea. Finally, both the Chiefs and Chargers are excellent in special teams. For kickers, the Chiefs, of course, have Harrison Butker, who's turned into the most clutch kicker in the NFL over the past 7 years. But the Bolts have Dicker the kicker. That's right, Cameron Dicker, who's now the most accurate kicker in NFL history. And both the Chiefs and Chargers are proud of the return teams and coverage units. Charger returner Darius Davis has been the NFL's best punt returner over a 2-year period, while the Chiefs seem to have tweaked, or at least worked on the tweaked dynamic kickoff rule to their advantage. In Brazil, tomorrow night, Week 1, Friday Night Lights in South America. Chiefs and Chargers, and I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs.
Jason, year 2 for you, typically that means you've got returning players who understand your expectations, starting with the spring, the summer, and into the fall. You feel like your team's had a good grasp of what you're looking for from them on a day-to-day basis as they get prepared for the start of this season?
Yeah, I think the majority of them do. It's, hitting the ground running instead of coming in new. We still have lots of room to improve. There's lots of kids who, maybe didn't understand how important the summer was or things like that, but I think we're definitely ahead of where we were at this point last year.
4 wins last season. That was a much-needed step in the right direction for the program, but obviously the goal now is to get more competitive against your 6A brethren in the Centennial League. What were the things that you wanted to emphasize throughout the preparation for this season as the things that have to happen to get on a more level playing field and be able to be more competitive against those teams like Manhattan and Junction City?
Right. Yeah. Well, what those teams have in common is fewer mistakes. They don't turn the ball over. They don't shoot themselves in the foot with penalties. And then there's just a different level of aggression and violence up front. And, our kids, we got to get to where we are violent with our hands up front and we're shedding blocks and we're also staying on blocks. And I think you'll see like the difference in, when a good high school team has a sound scheme, but everybody can come up with a scheme. It's like, can you get your kids to stay on the play, stay on the block for the whole 6 seconds of the play, things like that. And hopefully we're making strides in that area.
You have a veteran returner at quarterback, Zane Smith, for his senior season. He's been starting games since his sophomore year. What have you seen from Zane as far as improvement and really taking command of the team as a leader as he enters his senior year under center?
I think, his understanding of what we're trying to do with when I call a play, here's what I'm looking at, and here's what you should be thinking. I think we're just, way ahead of where we were last year with him with that. And, he's got to just now eliminate the bad plays. We turned the ball over, like I said, a little bit too much last year. And so he's got to understand when it's time to get down or get out of bounds, when it's time to not make that throw, and it's time to, do smart things with the football. So I'm excited about his senior year going in. I think he's going to be a good player for us. But yeah, we're just going to keep working on the little things.
Plenty of talent returning on the defensive side of the ball. What group of players do you expect will be the tone setters on that side for the Trojans this season?
Probably linebacker. We have a couple of guys that are kind of flexible and they play different positions. And, Malachi Murph's a big player for us, and he's kind of a DB and a linebacker. But him and a couple other seniors, Rock and Aiden, are both good leaders, lead by example type of guys, and I think they'll set the tone. I'm excited about our defense. They fly around, they get to the ball. They're working a lot on just trying to make the big play, and if you're the second guy to the ball, see if you can get the ball out. Working a little bit more turnover emphasis, but man, I think our defense will be the strength of our team. Like you said, returning a lot of starters. So
you've got Wichita West to open up your season, and you're opening up on a Thursday night. So you've got one fewer night of prep to begin than everybody else. Do you like being able to hit the ground running, or do you maybe wish you had that extra day with this week to be preparing?
Yeah, with it being Labor Day yesterday, I wish I had an extra day, but Wichita West is in the same situation we are. So there's nothing we get to complain about. Week 1 Thursday game is no big deal. It's the week 3 that gets annoying, because then you really are on a short week. So I feel like, we've had all summer and all fall camp to get ready for this game. So one day is not as big of a deal for us. It's just kind of a bummer that you don't get as many kids out because they got school the next day. The crowds usually aren't as big, and we're playing a team from far away. So they're certainly not going to bring a lot of people, I would guess. So that kind of stinks, but it is what it is. So
what will you need to do then to create your own energy? If it's not going to come necessarily from the atmosphere, what will you have to do to create your own energy to start the game?
Well, I would hope that, the first chance we get to crack the pads, hopefully that wakes up our sideline, and our kids usually do a pretty good job of understanding it's time to turn it up for game time. So, the crowd is cool and all, but as a football player, you kind of got to be intrinsically motivated, and you got to be able to get yourself going, even if there's no one there. So,
Jason Philbeck is the head coach of the Topeka High Trojans. Jason, best of luck with this week 1 contest against the Pioneers.
All right, appreciate it.
That's Jason Philbeck, the Topeka High Trojans second-year head football coach. Again, they take on Wichita West in the season opener for both teams tonight. We'll hear from the other 7 city head coaches on tomorrow's edition of 580 Sports Talk on the Coaches Club. Right now, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll look ahead to tonight's action, both on the diamond and the gridiron, here on 580 WIBW. 547 on 580 Sports Talk, live from Prairie Band Sportsbook up at Prairie Band Casino and Resort. It's been some good action. A lot of people in and out, and a lot of people putting some bets down. Again, until September 8th, you put a $10 bet down at the window at Prairie Band Sportsbook, you get either a $10 free bet or $10 in Prairie Cash just for playing one bet here at the Prairie Band Sportsbook. You want to come out and do that, take advantage of that. That is through September 8th. It's also the place to be tonight because the NFL season is starting, and it looked like the weather might get nasty tonight, at least at the start of the first game of the 2025 season. We're looking at the radar map on NFL Network right now. Looking like a storm is going to hit Philadelphia right before game time, or at least during warmups. It is the Eagles raising a Super Bowl banner and then taking on their longtime blood rivals, the Dallas Cowboys. If you were to come right now to the window at Prairie Band Sportsbook, and
You'd see us.
you
Hear
would.
us talking.
First of
Yeah.
all, you would see us. You
Hey,
would hear us.
what's up?
I would hope you would wave and say hi. But then also, you would see that the Eagles are 8-point favorites, that the Eagles are minus 480 on the money line. Dallas is plus 360. The total tonight, 47.5. Brendan, who's covering, and what do you like on the total?
I am on the Eagles in this one. I would take them based on feel. I would take them based on roster and my proprietary power ratings metric that I am debuting this year. No, I will not reveal the numbers unless they're bad, in which case, yeah, I'll tell you all about them. I've got the Eagles, according to my numbers, as a 9.48-point favorite, nearly 9.5 points. That is well far enough ahead of the spread that I am willing to take that. And by the way, that metric, those numbers were calculated before the Micah Parsons trade. So Dallas's defense has only gotten worse since that was tabulated. I am going to take Philadelphia here. I think they got a better roster. I think they've got a better coach, and I think they are going to take care of business today. On the total, man, I don't know, especially if the weather is bad. Dallas is going to have to throw the ball a ton because their running game, I mean, Jaden Blue, a decent player at Texas. Can that be your bell cow? Javonte Williams hasn't been a plus running back in 3 years at least at this point after he had that major injury. I'm going to go with the under here. I think Philadelphia is going to do what, generally speaking, they have wanted to do with Nick Sirianni as their head coach. Score a bunch early, get ahead by multiple scores going into halftime, and then take the air out of the ball in the second half. So I'll take Eagles to cover that 8-point spread, and I will go under 47.5 on the total.
I agree with you on both counts. I saw this earlier watching NFL Network here at Prairie Band Sportsbook. Of the top 4 sack leaders for the Cowboys last year, none of them are wearing a Cowboys uniform tonight. Yeah. Only one of them is still on the team. That's DeMarvion Overshown, and he's on IR. So I don't know how they're going to get after the quarterback. I don't know how they're going to get in the backfield. I don't know how they're going to disrupt whatever it is that the Eagles want to do. I think the Eagles do win by 2 scores, and I think I got the under 47.5. Spencer, quickly, do you like the Eagles -8 or Dallas to cover? And what do you like on the total 47.5?
In reality, I think the Eagles are going to win. It's going to be Eagles all the way. But just for fun and craziness in the NFC East, I would love nothing more than the Cowboys to win this game and the Eagles to start 0-1. But that'd be like one of like 3 or 4 games the Dallas Cowboys win this year. No, this would be one of 3
I'm going to go ahead and edit
5
that.
games.
I'm going to go ahead and edit that to have Spencer saying, I love the Dallas Cowboys.
It's okay. I already had that bet last year where I wore the hoodie once. So
You did. You already did that. You can also bet on some baseball tonight. The Kansas City Royals are in action in less than an hour. The Royals reeling after back-to-back losses to the Angels, trying to get right tonight. They're still only 2.5 games out of a playoff spot. Seattle is in the tank. They are trying to give away that wild card spot in the American League, but nobody will take it. Texas has lost 3 in a row. Seattle has lost 3 in a row. The Royals have lost 4 of 5. Tampa Bay now lingering 2.5 out. Cleveland 3 out. All of a sudden, it's a real race, a real logjam for that final spot, and it feels like it's still there for the taking. But, boy, the Royals look listless on offense. Nobody's going well for them right now. Garcia's in a bit of a funk. Bobby Witt Jr.'s had some bad at-bats with runners in scoring position. Vinny's in a funk. Salvy's in a deep freeze. They got to get somebody swinging the bat tonight.
They do. If they want any hope at staying alive, they need that tonight. And fortunately, though, for those of you who are fans of Kansas City sports, you will have something else to watch starting tomorrow. I think the Royals get swept tonight. I think it is effectively over.
This is a Kyle Hendricks stand speaking. He is the starting pitcher for the Angels tonight, so that's where this is coming from.
Look, when you get older, you don't need to throw fast because you have mastered, painting the corners, and that's good because Kyle Hendricks has never thrown fast.
It's Hendricks for the Angels. It's Noah Cameron back on the bump for the Royals tonight. The lineup for the Royals: Yastrzemski in right, Witt Jr. at short, Pasquantino at first, Garcia at third, Perez behind the plate, Frazier in left, Massey at second, Jensen getting his first big league start, Carter Jensen the DH, and Kyle Isbell in center field batting ninth. Royals need a win. They need a win in the worst kind of way to avoid the sweep and avoid dropping back to 500 with 22 games to play. That is not where you want to be. That is not how you get to a Blue October. You'll hear the action right here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. Pregame coverage coming up in 7 minutes, and the first pitch from the K at 6:40. One more timeout. We'll come back and wrap it up from Prairie Band Sportsbook after this on 580 Sports Talk.
Did you guys see that Micah Parsons' mom is there in Cowboys gear? Tom Pelissero, or not Tom Pelissero, who's the other? Who's the third? Mike Garafolo said it in a stand-up earlier I saw on Twitter that she was there tonight. I don't understand why. Unless she already had everything booked and didn't want to lose the money.
Final word time on 580 Sports Talk. Let's make it a quick one. Spencer Dupuis, what's your final word?
Yeah, we are not going to have to deal with the Royals much longer, obviously. It's a tough one for them right now, but yeah, Chiefs play tomorrow, and Chris Jones said it best earlier today in his media availability down in Brazil. He said, you got to climb back up to the mountaintop, and that's what the Chiefs are about to do, try to climb back up to the mountaintop.
Brendan Dworzinski, final word.
I'm just glad the NFL is back. It has been a long wait. We've got a great slate of week one games. I think tonight might be a blowout, but I'm just happy that football's back.
Football is indeed back. We made our predictions at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. If you want to catch it on the podcast or the video archive, please do. I think the Chiefs do climb back to the top of the mountain. I think they do win the Super Bowl this year. I think that they are motivated. I think that they are talented. I think that they are still the team that finds a way to win in close games. The only times they haven't won a Super Bowl is when they could not protect Patrick Mahomes. I think they will be able to protect Patrick Mahomes this year. If Josh Simmons is just fine as a rookie, that's all he needs to be. When the Chiefs have gotten fine left tackle play, they have won the Super Bowl. It's that simple. When they have been fine at left tackle, they have won the Super Bowl. I think they will be more than fine at left tackle. I think Josh Simmons will be pretty good. I think he'll be first-team all-rookie at left tackle. And I think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl in 2025. That is going to do it for us. We want to thank our friends at Prairie Band Sportsbook up at Prairie Band Casino and Resort for having us out today. Remember, until September 8th, you make a $10 bet at the window at the Prairie Band Sportsbook, you get a $10 free bet or $10 in Prairie Cash, whichever you prefer. Also, remember, join the Prairie Band Pro Football Tournament, pftrules.com. You can enter as many as 10 times, $100 per entry. The year-long winner wins $5,000 in cash. pftrules.com. On tomorrow's show, we'll have a full preview of the Chiefs season opener against the Los Angeles Chargers, including a chat with our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick. We'll also have the first 580 Preps Coaches Club of the Year, a preview of week 1 of the high school football season. Hope you'll join us for that tomorrow. We'll be back from 3 until 6. For Spencer Dupuis and Brendan Dworzinski, I'm Dan Lucero saying so long from Prairie Band Sportsbook in Mayetta. This has been 580 Sports Talk. The Royals are next. Good night.